Are we live?
We're going live.
Okay. Do I need a mic?
That's for you, yes.
This guy's on it.
Hi guys, live from outreach by British Lion for Freedom in York. Damon, can you tell us what it's all about? What is outreach?
Yeah, so basically just pretty basic today. No gazebos. We do have a sound system, but no gazebo, no banners, less stress, but just grassroots. I'd say just basic grassroots community outreach, leaflet into the public, and and we've just done 3 days on this tour in we started in Edinburgh on Monday.
Move a little bit.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
I'm just checking. Sorry.
Yeah, right,
we don't have cameraman.
So after Glasgow on Saturday for the main event, which you were at, Rad, thank you for that, for coming and supporting that and filming there. We did Edinburgh on Monday, which was a bit of a slow start. So we did, in the last 3 days, we've done 2 days in Newcastle, linking up with the local groups. Rebels About the Toon, which means in English, Rebels About the Town. And we've done 2 days in Newcastle and 1 yesterday in South Shields. So I just want to thank Mitch Wood, who that's his name on Facebook. Mitch Wood, absolutely brilliant guy, local guy in Newcastle. He's looking to connect with. He's looking to create and connect several Rebels on Roundabouts groups, yellow boards groups through the northeast, through Sunderland, South Shields, Newcastle. So he's doing amazing things. Working with the guy for 3 days, I've just got so much respect. Big shout out to you, Mitch. So we're in York today, just doing the same sort of thing. So yeah. And the music's just kicked up a little bit, so if you can't hear us, Shah, can you just turn the music down a bit? Thank you.
Yes, Shai, can you put the music down for a while? Yeah, just 1 second.
Yeah.
I will just move the camera around so we can see where we are. We are in York, in front of Cathedral.
Okay, right, yeah. Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
So that's where we are today.
Yeah.
Yes, so carry on.
Yeah, so we're in York today. We're just doing some more outreach today. It's a decent response so far. I just want to say, with Newcastle, I mean, one of the worst places that we did initially, Rad, was outreach in Newcastle. Me and Dazza Hopkins, and Daz is brilliant at outreach as well. And we really struggled up there. The apathy in Newcastle was shocking. I've got to say the difference now is night and day between back then and now. So people are so much more receptive. We've had some amazing conversations, including with somebody who works inside the UN, who gave us some interesting information regarding the differences and the differences between the UN, NATO and the WEF, and how they were at loggerheads and they didn't agree on certain things and so on and so forth. So and it was a really constructive conversation. She looked at a lot of the things we were saying, and she acknowledged that, and she, to some degree agreed with it. So yeah, so we've had some amazing conversations over the last 3 days in the northeast. So much information's gone out. The response has been overwhelmingly positive. So I'd just say for people, they want you demoralised. They want us downbeat. They want us to feel like there's nothing we can do, and they're all powerful.
That's the thing. What did you say to people who say there's nothing I can do? Why it is a logical fallacy? And how can you put this in perspective of 3 years of people protesting, of your group doing outreach, and everybody doing their thing?
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing I can do, said 7 billion people, And I think sometimes, be your own leader. Everybody's got a skill, everybody's got something they can do, and that might just be, you go out at night and you take some leaflets and you stick them to bus stops with spray adhesive, very cheap can from a pound shop, and then varnish gloss it over as well, which it's hard for them to get off. You can see them gnawing away at it a few days later like rats. So that's just a little tip if you want to go out and stick at bus stops and things at night. But there's loads of things. People can send emails off. People can get out in the streets. Everybody has something that they can be doing. And if you do something, if it's going to make you feel a hell of a lot better.
You told me in Glasgow there is million of us, at least million of us protested in London. So I would say there's 10 million of people who don't agree with tyranny.
Yeah.
So, but you said something. You were talking with somebody and said, if million of us will just talk to one person.
Yeah.
On a day, overnight, just get to talk to one person.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me of that. Yes, so yeah, Rad, 100%. So I mean, look at what I'm wearing today. I mean, you know, this is like it's not standard dress, is it? And then on the back, I've got BLFF, Freedom Enforcement Division. And if you look at the abbreviation for that, it's FED, so it's the Feds, which is a bit funny. But at the end of the day, look, this draws attention. I mean, you know, I wouldn't dress like this every day of the week. This is a little bit more, you know, a bit more extreme. But, you know, I always wear British Lions for Freedom gear wherever I go. And, you know, whatever you're wearing, you know, a T-shirt that says anything, you know, and something with a message, something that grabs somebody's attention. You can be a walking advertisement for the freedom movement. The amount of conversations that I have day in and day out because of what I'm wearing, people look at my uniform and they go, what's that? I open up a conversation, and mostly they're positive conversations, and I always have leaflets on me. I always give them leaflets, and like we were saying, what Rad was saying there, the point I made on Saturday in Glasgow was that, you know, if you look at the over 1 million people, 1.2 million or whatever it was in London in 2021, you know, we know we're out there. There's still millions of us, even though there aren't millions of us out at protests anymore or so on and so forth. There's still we haven't changed our views, have we? We're still there. We're all there. But I mean, like I said, we know there's millions of us in every town, in every city, in every corner of the country, in every nook and cranny of every neighbourhood. There's one of us, and there's a lot more of us that are waiting to be connected, you know, with what we can do. So I'd just say, you know, there's millions of us. If you all went out tomorrow and you took some leaflets with you and you opened up a conversation, if you go to the cashier in Tesco and she says, are you paying by cash or card? Say, always cash. Once they take the cash, they take our freedom, you know, and they move, and then you know, so many times you'll see somebody stood next to you in the queue go, or whatever, you know, or the cashier will go, what do you mean? Open up a conversation, use something, just use a little bullet point to open up a conversation, and if everybody, anyone can get one person in one day and open up a you know, positive conversation. There's millions of us out there, and if millions of us do that tomorrow, then there's millions more that are then, you know, that have been brought into this way of thinking.
And another thing, we are being stripped of freedom. It's nearly invisible. Like in the place I live, it's literally a village next to Barnsley. One of shops just went on self-scanning tills seamlessly overnight.
What with
the tills were removed. And people were left no choice but to go and use self-scanning tills.
Yeah.
I just left trolley full,
Boycott.
and I left. But then more than 99%, everybody just started scanning for free.
Yeah.
Doing job for a company for free.
Yeah.
This is as close. I mean, this is pure definition of slavery: working for free.
Yeah.
Being forced to work for free because that's literally what it is. Price still consists price of the product. You don't get discount for scanning them.
Yeah.
Fair enough if that would be. You scan, there's 15% off whatever.
Yeah.
But it's same price, and you have to do the job.
Yeah, exactly. We're doing their jobs for them, you know. But like I said, I mean, just speaking to people, I mean, you know, like people. Once you put this across to people, that they might think about it and go, oh right, yeah. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I'm not just focused on here and now. I try and treat this like a game of chess. For me, it's a war, and it's a game of chess. So I'm thinking 5 moves in front. I'm looking at what they want to implement supposedly by 2030. I don't think they've got
the infrastructure that they're building, which people don't understand.
Yeah.
Cameras upon cameras.
Yeah.
So you get charged. Then when it's electronical money, CBDCs, then you got no choice but to pay.
Yeah.
And that's the infrastructure. There's just closing in, creeping in, closing in, another camera, another restriction, another cashless device thing at the time. You're left with no choice.
I mean, it's an abusive relationship that the vast the vast majority of the country are in, you know, with their oppressor, and that's the government. I mean, you know, we've all probably been involved with some sort of abusive relationship in our personal lives, you know what I mean? So, and that it's just, the psychology is exactly the same. What they're doing at the minute is they're just nudging us bit by bit. You know, I mean, you don't go onto a first date, do you, and sit down? I mean, if you're a girl, you don't go and go and have a first date with a guy in a restaurant, sit down, and he says, right, okay, I'm not sure I'm happy with you, like, you're hanging out with your friends anymore, and where are you going and what you're doing, and you're not going to dress like that anymore, and I want you to stay home. I mean, that's not what happens on a first date.
They say first, like, very romantic notion.
Yeah,
it's 15 minutes city, but then why you're leaving 15 minutes, you're not allowed. Penalty.
The psychology is very, very simple. It's just related to everyday life in your own personal experience. I mean, for the people out there that aren't part of this movement, that are just watching this and just
might be confused.
Might be a bit confused. Just have a look at it in that concept. It's like, at the end of the day, like, are you in an abusive relationship with the government? You know, are you relying on them to help you? Are you relying on them to, you know, dictate what you do and what you don't do? You saw this through COVID. 2 weeks to flatten the curb, or 3 weeks to flatten the curb, turned into almost
no job.
Yeah, well, 2, 3. Just give us, you know. This is what happens with abusers, right? Okay, and narcissists and so on and so forth. It's like it's bit by bit. So, like, in a personal relationship, it will start with, oh God, are you going out again? It's like 3 nights in a row you've gone out. You know, and then it's like, well, who are you going out with? And in the end, it's just you give a little bit, you give a little bit, give a little bit to keep that person happy, right? Because you don't want the drama, and you don't want the trouble, and you don't want the arguments and the grief. And then you find yourself in 5 years' time completely locked in your house, being completely controlled. All your friends are gone, your family can't speak to you anymore, and that's how abusers work, and that's what the government are, without a shadow of a doubt. So, are you going to continue to be abused by the people that are put there to serve you, that you pay, or are you gonna step out and step up and say, no more? I refuse to be controlled, manipulated, abused by these parasites who are supposed to be there to make my life better, which is what your partner's supposed to do, but many times they don't. They make it very much worse, don't they? So.
I was reflecting, for instance, my grandfather built a house with no mortgage. The whole village was built like this.
Yeah.
So if you're building your house, neighbors will come and will help you.
Yeah.
And vice versa. When I will be building mine, you will come to help.
Oh, yeah.
The whole village was built like this. No mortgages, no banksters involved.
Yeah.
And the problem is what you say. It's like violating the social contract. Because everything, banking, government, it's all convenience.
Yeah.
We agree
Yeah.
as a society, this is contract. So let's say we're handling the money, there is institution. But then now bank is telling you, oh, you're not allowed to say that, you can't do this, and they're switching your account. They're becoming like domestic terrorists.
Yeah.
Which they're never were appointed to.
Yeah. And that's the slow program of abuse, you know. These people didn't come in with this. This is like how slowly we're being slow boiled, you know.
You don't need bank end of the day. They need us.
Yeah.
And the same for government. We pay their wages.
Exactly, yeah. But we're being slow boiled.
They're just turning everything on its head.
Exactly, yeah. We live in an inverted world. At the end of the day, people have been gradually nudged bit by bit to have this kind of this psychology that, oh no, these people are all powerful and we must do what they say. Now, in reality, like, let's go back to basics and remember who they are and what they are and why they were there in the first place. They're put there by us, they're paid for by us, they are our servants, they do not control you, and we are supposed to be in this country governed by consent. So if we don't consent, then all of these acts and statutes and legislation that they claim you have to follow, like they did through COVID, you must wear a mask, you must socially distance. They can't do that because it's in direct violation of our basic human rights and our constitution. So at the end of the day, the only thing that separates us from communist China and places like that, I think, are things like being governed by consent. And these people are taking this away bit by bit, you know. So At the end of the day, I do not consent to being owned, manipulated, controlled and dictated to by these parasites, these absolute parasites who have loaded their bank accounts over the last 3 years with subcontracts for masks and everything else. And this has been the biggest transference of wealth in the last 3 years. You know, taking the money away from the everyday person, the blue collar worker, the local business, the small and medium business. It's abhorrent. It's vile what's happened, and the evidence is overwhelming. It's just if you want to look and who you listen to. If you're listening to the BBC, the British Bullshit Corporation and things like that, they're owned and controlled by the same establishment. So that's not going to do you much good.
I want to talk some facts, because if we would know the facts or information,
Yeah.
would we agree to this? So just recently, one of my connections on Facebook posted that only 37% of UK population are homeowners with mortgage, right? And 27% owns the property outright. So that just tells you, because World Economical Forum is saying you will own nothing, you'll be happy.
You'll own nothing and you'll be happy,
So
yeah.
there's just 27% of all the properties, houses, I mean not commercial,
Yeah.
are owned.
Yeah.
So how long does it take for them to ruin those people by increasing the interest
Yeah.
rates? Saying, oh, now you need to increase your EPC, just spend 100,000. If no, then we'll just screw you over. We'll give you quintuple council tax to pay, whatever. They will just try to force. It's just barely 25%.
Well, the thing
27.
I think so. I mean, one of the points I think you're getting at there, Rad, is that if you own your own property, you are with what Rad's just said. Klaus Schwab, the head of the World Economic Forum, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Quote. And also, what we're most proud of is how we penetrate cabinets around the world. If that's the statistics, then if you are a private homeowner, if they come for your homes, then you are in the minority. You know, and if they appease everybody else, you know, beyond that, that are relying on the state or relying on, then you are in the minority, and that makes it a bit difficult for you.
Ridiculousness of the media. So media, like in Germany, just recently they posted weather forecast with the fire burning on the screen, showing 28 degree.
Yeah.
28 degrees. So this is fire burning, yeah? If they will be providing us real information. So according to the same data, which I just read you, 72.4% of people are renting.
Yeah.
And there are, whether they're landlord or tenant, they're being shafted by bank.
Yeah.
So over 70%, yeah?
Yeah.
And now, obviously, the main goal, the bigger picture is Agenda 21.
Yeah.
So removal of all the private property.
Yeah.
So you're renting everything. You're basically dependent fully on the state because you got nothing. You got no shelter. You're not allowed to have anything.
And if they ruin our lives if they ruin our lives to that degree, then you look at the youth today. A lot of them don't want to work, and in all honesty, I don't blame them. Why would you? Because what's your reward at the end of it? And that's part of the social reprogramming, isn't it? Within the system,
Yes, but then people are dependent on the state in a communistic country.
Yeah.
When there was during the thick of communism in Poland, for instance, you could not go to shop and buy goods. You would literally have just bottles with vinegar. That's it. That was your all choice. So there was even saying banana or orange kids. Like if you would be son of politician, then you probably will be banana kid.
Yeah.
So you will ever see banana. But then it will not be available on shop shelf. And you will be only allowed rations. So we didn't have money. We had rationing.
Yeah.
Where you will have piece of paper with coupons, and you will be allowed 2 kilos of sugar, 4 pounds of sugar, whatever. Yeah, that's equivalent, and that's it.
This is
like CBDC, but more primitive.
Well, I was going to say it sounds just like the CBDC, the central bank digital currency.
It is exactly the same, but then with coupons, I could give you my coupon, and you will have 4 kilos of sugar instead of 2. Yeah? But with CBDC, it won't be possible.
It won't be possible,
and it will be conditional. So you will not even get your 2 kilos of sugar when they will say something isn't right. But I just want to go further. So there are agendas like Agenda 21. There is a page called ukfires.org with a report Absolute Zero, which says there will be no flying. There will be only 3. They want to basically strip people of driving, of
Yeah.
flying.
No private car ownership. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Only
And-
2 airports will be open. Will it be? Will be Glasgow and Heathrow?
Yes,
You know, for the elites,
this
I'd
is
imagine.
absolute zero. So
Absolute zero, yeah.
Absolute zero is back to the caves, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
No boilers, no gas boilers, no electrical boilers. It's absolute zero.
Yeah.
That's what it is. If you die, then tough luck. But then that's how it is being played. Now, people are thinking. Angela Reiner, she let the cat out of bag. She said, "Oh, ULEZ is coming to every town."
Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
she let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah.
So cameras are being installed for your safety? No.
Yeah.
To strip you out of property, to strip you out of car, so you will be automatically charged. So ULEZ. Now people are still confused. Even on a group of ULEZ, anti-ULEZ, big group, 41,000 members,
Mm-hmm.
people are still discussing, oh, maybe I should change the car.
Yeah.
But this is not where it's heading, because
Yeah, yeah.
next one is charge per mile.
Yeah.
And there is agenda called C40 that goes along with 15-minute cities, 20-minute cities, which are like little ghettos
Yeah.
where you are tied to your geographical location. And they're saying now, oh, it's for your convenience, yeah? But you just gave this example of a date.
Yeah.
So we're having the date, but then 3 years forward, I'm locked in your basement.
Yeah. Now the thing is this is being implemented at local level though by local council, and if you actually go to your local council meetings at the end of the day, these people aren't Klaus Schwab or like Tony
don't
Blair or
even understand what
they
they're
don't
implementing.
understand what they're implementing. So for example, this is also on our leaflet. Which is on there anyway. So basically, the Go Local pack, which UKCitizen.org put together, and they went to the local councils. These councillors, they're just sat there thinking that they're trying to do the best for the community and debating on what colour they're going to paint the local bench. You know what I mean? This is the kind of people we're dealing with. So so again, going back to what can we do? What can I do? I'm just one person. Well, one person can go to a council meeting and speak to all your councillors and representatives, and you've got this Go Local pack. It's available at ukcitizen.org, or it's also available on our website actually, British Lines for Freedom website, which is www.britishlinesforfreedom.com. You might struggle to find that on Google because I'm being censored. So another better search engine that's not censored is DuckDuckGo, as in duck as in quack, DuckDuckGo. Go to alternatives and solutions. You'll get the Go Local pack on there. It only takes one person to go to a council meeting, speak to all these council members. They think they're being told the same BS that we are. That these things, these 15-minute zones and everything, it's for your own good, it's for your own safety. The world is at an end. Climate crisis. I was being told this when I was a kid. I remember watching Al Gore's An Inconvenient Truth and being scared to death. And they said within 30 years, if we don't act right now, this is when I was a kid, I'm 43 years old now. If we don't act right now, in 20, 30 years, a third of the world's land's going to be underwater. It's going to be an absolute apocalypse. It's going to be a disaster for humanity. And here I am today, and everything's anything that happens, like you said, anything that happens, they class it as a result of climate crisis. We always have extreme weather conditions all over the world at many different times throughout history. So again, the Go Local pack is something where you can go and educate and challenge your local councillors and get them to think about what they're implementing, because at the end of the day, a lot of them are going to have children too. They're only building these digital prisons around their own children, and do you really think they want to do that? They're just ignorant, and you can't blame them for that. They've got their lives, and they're obviously not on the same path that we are, and they've not looked into it. So go and educate them,
Now on some data which people are not finding in media, they are finding big red screens saying there's 20 degrees, we'll burn alive, global boiling. But they're not saying anything about, I run through cost. We're all paying taxes, that's the social arrangement.
Yeah.
I got nothing for the principle. I'm not against, but I'm against defrauding, I'm against corruption, I'm against this, so you should be accountable.
I'm not against clean air, Rad. I'm not against the reduction of pollution and whatever, but anyway.
So let's talk through numbers. So first of all, they printed, this is called quantitative easing, where the Bank of England is creating money of thin air. right? So they printed approximately 2 trillion with the cost of interest alone, because we owe this money, like to Martian or to, like, who do we owe this money to? 450 billion.
Yeah.
It's like
The bankers.
We took it from somebody's basement and they just printed it from here.
So if me and you have zero money and I have a machine and I say I can print off 50 billion pound for you, Rad.
Yeah, but now
and I'm going to give you 50 billion pound, but then you have to pay me 75 billion back.
Yes.
And then we started off with nothing. How do you pay me the extra 25 billion? Right, and this is why the cost of living, or cost of giving crisis as I call it now,
cost of corruption crisis.
Cost of corruption, cost of giving to the Rothschilds and BlackRock and Vanguard, people that are never satisfied, these billionaires and trillionaires that run the world. The cost of giving is what I call it. And at the end of the day, if you want to look at one of the number one reasons for the inflation, for the cost of living, is because of all the money that they printed off through COVID. They justified this through the pandemic or the scandemic, and now we're paying for it. When they said we're going to give you 80% of your wage, we're going to give you furlough, we're going to give you this, we're going to give you that, aren't we wonderful? No, they're not. They don't give you anything. They don't own anything. Everything they give you is yours in the first place. And if I went and printed off a few $1 trillion tomorrow, I'd probably be incarcerated for the rest of my life. Okay? But the government do it. The government do it. The government do it, and it's okay. It's perfectly acceptable. The bankers do it. Thank you, mate. Taking a leaflet there. It's perfectly acceptable. It's legal and it's lawful because they do it. You know, it's just like people like.
But let's talk through the numbers.
Yeah.
I did nice, concise list. And if that doesn't shock you, and you will not see this on media,
Yeah,
from.
Sorry, I'm just a bit distracted.
Yeah.
Shah, can we get some? Yeah. All right. Sorry.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm just. Yeah.
Okay, so the principal debt, I mean, just the cost of printing money for that period of time, last 3 years, is 450 billion to pay, which will be like 5,000 or 6,000 pound debt per head for each one of us. But this is not the end. Now the list goes. Between 32, that's the government page, between 32.2 to 58.8 billion is the cost of estimated fraud and error across the government for 2020-21, right?
Yeah.
That's pre-pandemic spending, excluding pandemic spending. So nearly, how can you waste 33 to 58.8 billion unaccountable? Now, following, 70 billion was issued as furlough money, and now this is the magic trick. So the magic trick is a magician showing you something with one hand and is doing things with another. So when you got only 10 companies allowed to operate, McDonald's, Amazon, whatever, where you will go?
Sorry, I'm listening.
Yeah, where all that money will go. If they are now printing 70 billion and they're saying, oh, there you go, that's 80% of money for nothing, where you will spend it when you got only 10 places to spend them?
Yeah.
So this is just funneling of that money to those companies, because mom and dad shop, barber, etc., they were all shut down.
Yeah.
So this is just handing money on a silver plate to their mates.
And the smart cities. I mean, these things are already being proposed. It's not a conspiracy theory. These mega cities, they look like something out of Judge Dredd. You know, so like you said, you know, the attack on the small and medium businesses, the local businesses. You know, your local barber. Eventually, you'll probably just go to your local. You'll go to Amazon or whoever, a massive corporation that work hand in glove with the WEF, the World Economic Forum, and your governments. They're going to have the barber shops. They're going to have these mega stores in mega cities where everybody's going to be condensed, and the more they can condense you, the more they can control you and surveil you.
Extract from you.
Yeah, and extract from you. Yeah.
So continuing on my list, so I just been through 450 billion cost of interest.
Yeah.
33 to 58 billion just a cost of corruption pre-pandemic, excluding pandemic.
Yeah.
70 billion furlough for unnecessary lockdowns.
Yeah.
If you really would need to do that, fair play, but it wasn't needed. 37 billion gone, disappeared for track and trace app. How can you lose 37 billion? Now, there was something like 60 billion of bounce back loans, out of which 27, this is not up to date, it could go up. At least 27 billion is reported as fraudulent. How can you, now you got company, limited company with name, with a director, how can you just go to the bank? And I've been to the bank recently trying to open business account, and they say, oh, you know, during scamdemic we were just opening It's a company account, company account, company account.
Yeah.
This is organized theft.
Yeah.
Because you as a taxpayer, me as a taxpayer, him, all of us as a taxpayers, we are underwriting this.
Yeah.
This government says if this will collapse, we will pay. So banks, they were willingly handing bank accounts to Joe Bloggs, who just started company yesterday, and they were getting bounce back loan for 25,000 for a company that didn't exist or was created 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So that's your 27 billion pounds, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, continuing, 9 billion pound defrauded on PPE contracts, £500 million, that was the cost of converting property to Nightingale hospitals. There was few hospitals that were called emergency Nightingale hospitals.
Oh, the Nightingale hospitals that they never used.
This was cost before the...
Thank you, mate. Sorry, I've just got
That's fine.
a young lad taking
we are
some
at work.
leaflets off.
Thank you, sir.
mate. I'm trying to multitask. Sorry,
yes,
Rad.
Yes, that's
Thank you,
okay.
mate.
We're live, so you have to apologize. It's not BBC live studio, so you have to.
No, what it was, we just had a young boy there, maybe 12 years old.
You're stopping people talking.
Yeah, he's looking at us and he's took a leaflet there, so that's what we're here for.
People were actually interested. They stopped for a while, listened to us.
Anyway,
you will not hear that in media.
Yeah.
So 9 billion dodgy PPE contracts. If you will send friend request to Matt Hancock, you will get some contract alongside. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
That was a joke.
I know. Yeah.
Unfortunately, how can you defraud 9 billion without a trace? You try to steal £100 from your local council and see what they will do to you.
Yeah, exactly.
But when they lose 37 billion,
we're dealing. But to put it into simple terms, right? You've all seen the old gangster films. We're dealing with mobsters. You know, and you know what did they used to do? You know, mobsters they go around the local businesses and they say you pay us this much
for
and we're
protection.
For protection. You know, you pay us this much and you'll be okay. We'll protect you, but if you don't pay us, we're gonna
break you
over. We're gonna mess you up, and that's basically what we're dealing with, man. Now, you know. So, you know, anybody that still believes that the government, and I had a conversation yesterday with someone unbelievable. Actually, it was Jasmine who was doing a EBS in Newcastle, and the guy walked past and he called her a loser. And he actually had the gall to say that, you know, you people are using fear to manipulate the population. So yeah, no. As I said, I said that's the government, isn't it? So that's what we're dealing with. So anyone that still believes that the government are here to help you or serve
I was one of those people. I'm not afraid.
I was
stay.
too.
Like I said, by principle, I want to contribute and to pay the taxes.
Yeah.
But I don't want to pay for all this waste.
Yeah.
Why there are still homeless people and we can't bring empty properties to use and let them sleep? Why we're throwing food away
because
where we can feed people? So this is by design, ladies and gentlemen.
Because they don't care. If they cared, they could. These people at the top could do so much good if they cared, if they genuinely cared, you know. Because they've got billions, they've got trillions, they've got so much wealth.
The principle, like the most important thing from me that you can remember today, and that's why I travel all the way to speak to you.
Thank you,
is this that you can do everything.
Yeah.
Yes, we are all powerful. It's all in our hands. 68 million people. I was checking just recently. There is only 190,000 of military and 146,000 of police.
Yeah. And
then corrupted politicians, whatever, 3,000.
And also, I don't think our government trust our police and our own military to do the job.
Because most of them, they're normal people.
They're normal people, you know. They like our military. You know, if you are a military person, you know, and you're listening to this, and you sort of, I know there's conversations been going on in the barracks. It's like, well, what do we do? What do we do, lads? If this actually comes to fruition, who are we going to side with? Are we going to follow orders? Are we going to you know, defend the people that we swore an oath to defend? So at the end of the day,
pay your wages.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the government don't trust the police. I had an amazing conversation, a 10-minute conversation with 3 police officers outside the BBC last night, and they came over. They asked me why I was there and so on and so forth. Within 10 or 15 minutes, I'd pretty much covered everything, including the migrant crisis. And I'm not against basically if you shine a light on the agenda, the higher up agenda of anything that's going on, they label you far right, racist, or so on and so forth. I am so far from being racist. I believe, and a lot of us in this movement, most of us believe that our humanity.
I'm an immigrant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, humanity's problem.
We got one planet and we're being played against each other.
Exactly.
And even though I'm a perfect example, like I can feel for people who are being pushed to travel to this country. I was pushed. I finished university in my country.
Yeah.
And I was working for £120 a month. This is extreme poverty.
Yeah.
You can't just comprehend this if you're living in UK. And this is how we're being played, because there's no need. And this is what I learned and understand in UK. Austerity measures, keeping people dirt poor.
Yeah.
This is same like Victorian times.
Yeah.
Like literally keeping people into destitute by design, because money is printed of thin air. There is enough to go around.
Yeah.
The way you run society. That's why we're talking to you. That's why there's outreaches, because we can influence each other. Like I said, my grandfather, he built a house with no mortgage. The neighbors will come round and will help to build his.
Yeah.
No building in the village.
Why do we need banks?
Yeah, no banksters involved, no terms and conditions. The community was bartering between each other.
Yeah.
You will produce eggs, whatever, I will produce milk, whatever. The people were connected, they were talking to each other, and they created the reality.
Yeah.
We don't need government as such, we don't need institutions, they are just convenience. So I don't mind paying for convenience, but when they're breaking social contract, we cannot accept this. I just gave you list. That's
an amazing list, Rod. Well done.
This is couple of times budget of the NHS. If you're one of those NHS worshippers and you believe that big pharma is actually for your health, I don't want to correct you now on this, but I just give you like 2 or 3 annual budgets of NHS being burned.
Yeah. And this again is trying to simplify something that's quite it's quite it's trying to simplify something like the NHS. For example, you've got some wonderful people within the NHS that really do care, but you've also got in any walk of life, in any demographic, you've got good and bad. You've got good and bad within our movement, within these protests. It's the same with the police. It's the same with MPs. I mean, a lot of those MPs. I mean, Andrew Bridgen, big shout out to him. He's one of the most courageous ones that's really spoke out.
That's his job.
But yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's why he's one of 650.
Yeah.
Why only handful of them ever?
But it doesn't mean they're all evil. It just means most of them are cowards, and they're in a position where they're serving their own interests. But at the end of the day, look, we are powerful. You as an individual, you are powerful. If you stand in your power. I mean, just for example, during lockdowns, I walked into a supermarket. Everybody's wearing a mask, and I had a security guard on the door say to me, "Where's your mask?" And I said, put a mask on, and I was like, no, and just walked in. Now that pushback just from me alone, that it's basically that's going to make him think next time, and so on and so forth. So, we can all affect change. We can't just sit around and wait for somebody else to do it. And there are people out there that are working tirelessly, running themselves into the ground for our rights and our freedoms. Why, and as you said, like these people these lads that landed on the beaches of Normandy, these people that have made the ultimate sacrifice for the life that I think take for granted as a whole in general, our democracy, our rights, our freedoms, our way of life. We take these things for granted because how many times have they been challenged in our lifetime? Seriously, go and look at places like China, communist countries, North Korea, where they're controlled and manipulated. But I'll tell you something, we live in a tin pot democracy, and we are being led to believe, just like the North Koreans and just like the Chinese, that our media and our government love us and care about us, and we are slowly being manipulated to believe that we're better than any of them, and we're slowly baby stepping our way to the same kind of dystopian nightmare. We really are. The BBC are a well-established and institution, well loved and well respected, absolute what a crock of that is. Do you know what I mean? So, you know,
there is one thing I need to add, and this will be challenging. So I want to.
thanks, love.
This is bottom of it, ladies and gentlemen, because there is no way out of this. There is only two stances. It's so black and white as it can be. Society doesn't turn fascistic overnight.
Yeah.
Society does not turn communistic overnight.
Yeah.
To turn society into tyranny, it takes collaboration.
Yeah.
Because it's not just like Adolf Hitler or just dictator.
Yeah.
This is society getting along. So I'm afraid the bottom line is that you're either against it or you are supporting it actively. Or you're enabling it. I'm sorry, there is no neutral stance in here.
I'll give you an example of that. He's absolutely right. If you were to walk down the street and you were to see a woman being abused in the street by a group of men, this is just a scenario, hypothetical scenario. If you were to walk past and tell yourself, I didn't do it, it's nothing to do with me, that's a crock of shit. You are complicit and you are enabling. And this is the thing, this is the beautiful thing in a way about the lockdowns, about the COVID pandemic, is that it's everybody's had a decision to make. Everybody's been tested, the character and so on and so forth. And I'm not, like I said, I understand people making, like, if you made the decision to comply, if you chose to take the vaccine via, you know, with it be through fear or whether it be because you wanted to go on holiday, I don't really care, you know. At the end of the day, like we are basically, at the end of the day, where I come from, what we stand for is that all of us, you know, one of our favourite songs is "We Are the 99%," and we really are. You know, there's not that many evil people in the world. You know, there's a lot of weak people, there's a lot of apathetic people, there's a lot of cowards, and so on and so forth. But that's fine. But the people that run this world, they're not that powerful. They don't have everybody controlled and boxed off. You know, they like us to think that they have. So at the end of the day, it's about humanity coming together, all races, colours and creeds coming together, right? Because we're not all bad people, you know. We're just like you said, you know, where you've come from, Rad. You know, you just come for a better life, and you're a wonderful guy. You know, so why should I hate on you and you hate on me just because we were born in different countries? It's all a crock of shit. So at the end of the day, it's about humanity standing together against what is a very, very small percentage of you, like what the 1%, I'd say. That how can 1%?
Nobody wants to fund wars. Nobody wants to. This arrangement. We want more fair society, and it's very much possible. The same way, like we're collaborating.
Yeah.
Because we want to see better future for next generation, for our children. We're coming over our differences.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's about not personal sympathies, antipathies. We're coming to do the job. So many people here, I will just show.
Jasmine.
They're handing leaflets. You will not hear about them.
Yeah.
You will not see them. They are doing this day in, day out.
Yeah.
Rain, snow, wind. They are out there talking to people, and you don't see it. It's over 3 years now. So this was maybe the most significant silver lining of COVID.
Yeah.
Was that it walks so many people out, awaken so many people out to the corruption, because we can create better world. End of the day, world is how we will create it.
Yeah.
Human world. The planet is okay. It's just how we arrange our human thing.
I think that's the thing where they kind of messed up. Is they hit every country pretty much all in one go. So, you know, look at the wars that they've created over in the Middle East, you know, the weapons of mass destruction that never were, and then you've got a war criminal like Tony Blair, who's now sat in the World Economic Forum dictating our future, saying that we all need a personal carbon tracker and that our vaccine status should be linked to our digital ID. This guy, I mean, if you're going to put Vladimir Putin in front of the ICC, the International Criminal Court for War Crimes, then he should be in there too. You know, I'm not defending Vladimir Putin. I'm just saying there's a massive level of hypocrisy throughout this world, and double standards and corruption, and it's Western governments that create a lot of it. So yeah, 100%. Yeah.
This is the point of outreach. Is the point of to communicate, to speak to people.
Yeah.
Not just handing leaflet. You can just talk to your friend. Just say how bad it is, because it ends when you say no.
Yeah.
There was one of my colleagues who I'm sorry, but I would accuse him of being idle. He's enabling the rape in the dark aisle.
Yeah.
When this will end? This is not the question. It will end when you will stop it.
Yeah.
It's down to all of us to say no.
Yeah.
68 million people. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting near to 69 because the data isn't updated live. But okay, 68 million people in this country, less than 350,000 of forces that could enforce anything on us. And like you said, so many people are against this. And then the bottom line is, like, when there was 80,000 people, just 80,000 people protesting in London, it already paralyzed police in London.
Oh yeah.
Now the protests build up to 100,000, 250,000, 500,000 in May, up to culmination in end of June with over a million
Over a
people,
million, yeah.
or even million. It's still staggering number. But I will tell you a different one, just from a place where I live, Barnsley.
Yeah.
We had less than 30 people, and we went to hand papers to local police station.
Okay.
And they shut down the whole bloody building.
Yeah.
They hid themselves, they put roller shutters down, they lock the door from inside, I don't know, maybe they block with chairs, they hide behind the desk, they literally soiled their pants, I believe, because of 30 people in front of their building.
Yeah.
So just think, now we're hearing this about council meetings, that we're disturbing democracy. So when people will go and speak to councillor is disturbing the democracy, explain that to me.
Yeah.
Or it is democracy.
I mean, I'll give you an example of that. So I'd say the thing is it's becoming conditioned to your environment. So, the first rally I attended was September 2020 in London, and I'd never been in front of riot police before, and the last rally I attended in London was about November time of 2020. We had about 10,000 for that one. The numbers had built to about 30 odd thousand, and then they started to drop because of the time of the year. So the numbers dropped to about 10,000. Sorry, just distracted. Anyway, we had riot police come in. We had vans with flashing lights. We had riot police get out the vans. They run down the street, run to us, put helmets on, and we all ran. We ran left, we ran right. Within 10, 15 minutes, we were all like basically dispersed, isolated on our own, and it was over. And then the first rally I attended the next year in London was the first one that was organised, and our numbers jumped from 10,000. I think we had over 100,000 that day. And I personally sat there and looked at what happened on the last time I was there, and I thought, why did we run? I'm not running. And I think everybody else probably felt the same. But we weren't violent. Now, when we set off on the march and we had over 100,000 people, we had a line of police officers, and they all linked up, and they tried to kettle us on a high street, and we linked arms and we just walked through them. And as soon as we did that, the game changed. For the first time,
I remember
those TSG
faces, they completely lost the confidence.
They dropped,
bully boys who were ready to smack your head with the button.
Yeah.
They completely lost the confidence. They become so small. They were literally shitting their pants on the day.
Exactly, yeah. And also, like, I'll give you an example, a scenario. Like, even in the camps in Nazi Germany, if you've got thousands and thousands of people going into a camp, and you've got 5 or 6 armed guards. Now, if you're all going in there and you ain't coming out,
it's unstoppable.
But the thing is like, what have you got to lose? But at the end of the day, if those thousands of people that are going into that camp just in unison as a collective storm those 5 or 6 soldiers, a few might get shot, you might lose a few, and but you know what? In the end, the majority are going to be saved and they're going to be free.
That's why you need one shepherd dog to control 500 sheep.
Yeah.
Psychology of following a crowd.
Yeah.
So no, we got power. You, me, ladies and gentlemen, all of us.
Yeah.
It ends when you say no. It ends with participation. Yeah. It could end tomorrow. There's 68 million. If tomorrow we will do lockdown.
Yeah.
68 million people won't come to work. Just say stop.
Yeah. And yeah,
It's over.
And also, Rad, what you're saying there now, the government know this. When they take into account the amount of military and police personnel they have, the government do have what they call critical mass. So they know it's 5%
of society.
5% of society stand
revolution.
up is revolution. They have a 5% of society, just 5% stand up and say no.
Numbers.
That's critical mass. The government know this. It's game over for them. That's critical mass.
To talk you through numbers, 20 million people, over 20 million refuse the job.
Yeah,
I would
exactly.
say at least 10 million they are adult people in financial capacity, which got some funds. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least it's always same proportion. About 10% of people ever do something.
Yeah.
So on a group of 100, only 10% will ever do.
Yeah.
So we had 1 million, ladies and gentlemen, marching through London, making an effort. So that means there is at least 10 million of people who don't want to live in tyranny.
Yeah.
This is way above the given number of 5%. 10% is 6.8 million. 10% of society.
Yeah.
We just need half of it. It's
Yeah.
3.4 million is
Yeah.
the revolution stage. We just need 2 million, like you, me, all those people.
We need you.
actively pushing. We need you.
We need you.
Just 2 million of us. We don't need to convert everybody.
Yeah.
We don't need to have 100% of society agreeing. But we need to take control. This is like I was talking before we went live. This is like bus driver that is driving bus off the cliff. It's our duty to stop it.
Yeah.
It's on you, it's on me, it's for our children. If we don't want to live in fascist society, I see this from business background where I'm in. So many people, they just think, oh, just hide my head and I will get along. No, you're forfeiting life of your
What
child.
about you? I was just going to say, if you're okay with that for yourself, what about your children? And you know what? We've got Jasmine here today, the child advocate, member of British Cups of Freedom. So maybe you'll get her,
Yes,
get her on after
speak-
this.
I will speak to her next.
I don't have children, right? I mean, Ian, her dad, asked me last night. He said, "Why are you still doing this now? Why are you going through everything you're going through? Because you don't have kids."
There's no lockdown, and they're
what-
also thinking there's over. There's no lockdowns anymore. So what you're on about?
I mean, look, I don't have any kids, you know. So I mean, it was a good question for me, and there's many answers to that. Why I'm still doing what I'm doing and what my motivations are, but I don't have kids. You know, have you got kids? If you feel okay right now in yourself, if you have a look at what's going on with all this stuff that they're bringing in, this Agenda 2030, if you're okay right here, right now, and you've got that I'm all right, Jack, you know, mentality, I can understand it, you know, to some degree. But at the end of the day, if you've got kids, look your children in the eye, and then maybe look them in the eye again in you know, after 2030. And I don't think it'll be 2030. I think because we're doing so much outreach, we're waking so many people up very, very quickly. We're forcing them to speed up their efforts. So they want to slow boil us. They want to just nudge it bit by bit, like abusers do. But because we're out and waking so many people up, we're panicking them and we're forcing them to implement what they're doing even quicker, which is becoming more obvious to the general public. It might be the ULEZ, it might be the clean air zones, it might be the 15-minute zone, it might be the 15-minute neighbourhoods.
It's changing. First they're saying, and I mentioned this example, 41,000 people on the anti-ULEZ group, and they say there's doubt in those people. And they say, oh, maybe I will change car, maybe we're really polluting environment. But the next thing that is coming, and they're saying to you, is charge per mile.
Yeah.
They're saying C40 cities, which Sadiq Khan is a member of, they are advocating 0 meat, 3 clothing items per year, 0 travel, no flying, no cars for you, absolute poverty. Back to caves, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean, we had a sign, one of our prisoners in the orange jumpsuits on the march on Saturday. We had 7 mugshot boards, and it was ID WEF/UN Agenda 2030, and one of the signs we had was guilty of the illegal purchase of meat and dairy, which I thought was the funniest one. But in all seriousness, like there's a reason why actually it sounds funny, it sounds ridiculous, but they're actually, you know, they want to remove meat and dairy. They want to get rid of cows because they're blaming cows for the climate crisis because of methane. Do you know what I mean?
Sorry to interrupt you. Okay. What it's all about is just to take control of the meat production, because then you will have the food supply will be taken over, and you will be forced to eat only what they produce.
Bill Gates fake meat.
this is basic of fascism, when you got unelected government ruling by dictatorship,
Yeah.
colluding with government, creating monopoly,
Yeah.
where a protest is outlawed and censorship is rough.
Yeah.
But then there is like bit of a mixture when they say you will own nothing. There's a mixture with communism.
Yeah.
But this is totalitarian state, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
If you don't want it, I'm sorry, there's no in between.
Yeah.
You are either enabling it,
Yeah.
actively supporting it, or you're against it.
Yeah.
There is two ways you can support the regime, or one way to stand against. But there is no in between. I'm sorry.
100%. 100%, you're right. And I just want to say, with regards to my personal views and where British Lines for Freedom stand, is I don't buy into left or right. I don't buy into party politics. I look at some aspects of, I look at some things that, you know, the left, as they'd label it, in terms of politics. I look at some of the things that are very good with that. Some things, you know, on the right. So the thing is, I'm not going to allow these people to put me into a box where I have to, you know, I mean, are you left? Are you right? You know, what colour is your skin? I'm not going to allow them to label me left or right. I've got a brain. I can look at aspects of liberal policies, of Labour policies, of Conservative, of every different party and policies, and I just want to take bits of each. Do you know what I mean? Why should I have to be put over here like and choose the best of a bad bunch? And that's what party politics is. It's an absolute mugs game at this point, and it needs to be removed, because party politics now, Labour, Conservative, any of the mainstream parties at the highest levels are owned, bought and controlled and paid for by the World Economic Forum. And even you've got your good MPs, you've got your councillors and so on and so forth, but if they're going into office and they're in Labour or Conservative or any of them, so I don't come from the right, I don't come from the left. I see where, you know, where there are positive things, you know, with regards to, I mean, you know, for me, I'd definitely support, you know, what's the word? I'm losing my train of thought. Capitalism,
Yes.
you know, to some degree. Like, I mean, I support capitalism because I believe that if you go out and you work hard, you know, that's what capitalism is. It's to capitalize on your efforts. You know, so I support capitalism, but then it gets to a point where you've got.
But you don't support monopoly.
But I don't support monopoly, and I think there should be a wealth cap.
Leveling field.
I think there should be a wealth cap to a degree. So if somebody sleeps in bed every day, right, and does whatever, doesn't work hard, doesn't do anything, and you get out of bed every day, Rad, and you work hard to build a business, then why should that person be entitled to as much as you've got? I think you should be entitled to build your business to a point where you're comfortable, but nobody needs needs yacht.
I will interrupt you on this, because this is very notion of democracy.
Yeah.
But the democracy seems to be only in the field of politics.
Yeah.
But then we see clearly where the problem is today is that the politics was hijacked by the corporation,
yeah, the
by the
globalist corporations. That's your World Economic
And there is
Forum.
no democracy in there. This is pure fascism.
Yeah, yeah.
So we don't want fascism. We want democratic process within business, because we don't want companies to destroy the planet.
Yeah.
We like you said, nobody is against the clean air. Yes.
Yeah.
So we want to be sensible, but again, we will not want to fifth richest country in the world, and we got people unable to heat their houses.
Yeah.
And to buy the food.
And
how can this be tolerated?
And that's again the divide and conquer strategy, because when they're bringing migrants in, again, not against migration, not against like anybody seeking a better life. What I'm looking at is the chess game, you know. So basically, I see people hating on each other. I listen to people when we do outreach saying, you know, these migrants are coming in and they're getting this and they're getting that, and I don't get this and I don't get that. That's part of the game. It's designed for you to hate those people, and then they hate you. Hate breeds hate, you know. And it's the people at the top, you know, the puppet masters who have everybody on strings, pulling all the strings, that are the ones that are the problem, you know. So yeah. So but again, like, you know,
democratize the whole process. Accountability, that's what is missing, because those politicians, they are employed in company. When you defraud something or you do something wrong, you get sacked.
Yeah.
Why it isn't the case with politicians? And the same transparency. Who is funding what?
Yeah. I mean, for example, like, I'd give you, if I could, my ideal scenario for this would be no party politics. you have a governing body, that are by the people for the people, which government should be. But basically, you have a representative. So you have your health secretary, you have your education secretary, and so on and so forth. So when you go to the elections, you don't vote for a party. If your only concern in your life is your child's education, you go and vote on the education secretary, whether you want them to stay or go. So everybody is accountable on their own. So you literally, as individuals, are personally accountable. They can't hide, but behind a party, behind funding, they can't hide, behind a manifesto. And everybody should be voted in or out on an individual basis. If you don't like how your NHS is being run in your local area, then vote the health secretary out.
Also,
and so that would be my, because at the end of the day, with party politics, we're being forced to choose from the best of a bad bunch.
Let's look at another thing. What happened to Budweiser when they started promoting trans ideology?
Didn't go well.
Ladies and gentlemen, trans is not against being abusive towards somebody's choices. The problem is, look, LGBT, lesbian, gays and bis, this movement was grassroots and was coming over centuries to become normalized. And how come the so-called trans movement just exploded? Why everything is now painted in rainbow colors? This is big business forcing this upon you. That's why Costa, likes of Costa, is promoting mutilation on their premises. They recently put advertisement with a picture of cartoon character with after double mastectomy. This cannot be tolerated. And now we got 7 million people on a waiting list by the NHS, and they're not bothered to help those people. But on the other hand, this week news. You can find this on Telegraph. NHS will be funding surgeries, transitioning surgeries for children of 7-year-old. Why? There are certain things which are purely called psychological epidemics, which were only seen in certain countries with certain media message. Let's say like anorexia, bulimia. Those things were only characteristic for something that was pushed through mass media, and it wasn't present. If that would be a real issue, it will be present all over the world, in every culture, in every society. But this is made up thing. But this is big business coming after you, because the money person after transition is being mutilated, is lifelong dependent on hormones and drugs. Cost of mutilation surgery plus all the drugs is like £1 million per person. And this person is obviously broken for the rest of their life, dependent on government. And then there's a big business, because there will be law following it, suits, the claiming, and all sorts of business, like swimming suits for trans kids or whatever nonsense they're coming with. So this is big business pushing this. That's why all those companies, they are pushing this down your throat, and you can say no. For me, I was personally drinking bloody Costa coffee, and I will now show them 2 fingers. Sorry for being rude, but they will never ever, even if I would have to not drink coffee again in my life, I swear to God, I will not buy Costa coffee. So this is my regards to Costa. Fuck you. That's what we have to do.
Fine. I mean, principles can be expensive, but find your principles, stick by them. They will be costly, but I'll tell you something: self-respect is priceless.
We can defund the business. Same, we can push for politicians. What is that I can do? Say 7 billion people.
What can I do? I'm just one person, said 7 billion people. I think somebody that you might want to get in on this now is Jasmine, but I just want to end on this, because Jasmine did a speech in Glasgow on Saturday on this sort of issue. Now, at the end of the day, right, I can still support gay and lesbian people and have absolutely no problem with that whatsoever. At the end of the day, each their own. What people do in private, it's nothing to do with me.
But I'm not children.
But then I get labelled homophobic, because I stand up and I say, at the end of the day, what they're teaching children in schools with confusing them and the sexualisation of our children is wrong. Then I'm labelled homophobic, or I'm against gay and lesbian. And this is, if you buy into this again, and this is a message maybe somewhat to Antifa. I've done a couple of speeches in front of you guys. I've had some good one-to-one conversations, one-to-ones, but when I'm being screamed and shouted at, you know, at the end of the day, I'm not homophobic, I'm not racist, I'm not against gay or lesbian, I'm not against migration. What I am against is the bigger agenda at play. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's you know, like if look, here's the thing with this, right? I'm 43 years old. As I was growing up, like, you know, let's say in the 90s, I think there was a massive problem with discrimination against gay and lesbian people, and the way I saw it at the time is that what the gay and lesbian community were protesting for and were working towards was being treated equally and fairly and seen just like anybody else. Now, here's the thing, and I see that wasn't that what the civil rights movement was about, you know, with Martin Luther King and so on and so forth. It seems like we've actually got to the point, like, you know, there's always going to be a racist out there, there's always going to be a bigot, there's always going to be an idiot somewhere else, but it doesn't mean you have to throw the baby out with the bathwater, do you know what I mean? You're not going to completely get rid of that 100%, but that doesn't mean we live in a predominantly racist or society. So at the end of the day, I feel like now, I think we've got to the point where nobody really cares anymore. It's like if you're gay, if you're lesbian, if you're black, if you're nobody generally, the average person on the street doesn't care, but it's the government and it's the media that keep pushing this and keep creating this divide and conquer. And now it seems like we're actually going back in reverse, where all of a sudden you see, like, you know, members of BLM saying we want our own this, we want our own that. They're actually going and saying we want segregation. Again, now it wasn't the original point of the civil rights movement to not have segregation and to all come together. So, you know, so that's the game that's really being played at the minute. I think you've got to be really careful about how you're being played and manipulated to some degree by the media and by the government with this, you know, because it seems like we're going backwards and we're going in reverse. But on this subject, I think if we can get Jasmine.
Yes.
She did an amazing speech in Glasgow on Saturday. Check it out on British Lines for Freedom, Facebook,
and,
Telegram. Rad, you were there, weren't you, as well?
I mean, her first speech was in Oxford. Can you just give?
Well, her first speech was actually way back. Her first speech was way back. She's been publicly speaking. Jasmine. She's actually having a conversation at the moment with one of the public.
Yes.
Yeah, she's having a conversation with one of the public at the minute.
So this is outreach. It's basically reaching out to people.
Right.
Handing leaflets, engaging in discussion. One person at a time.
Rad wants an interview with you.
Everybody here is well aware because it's we knew you were going to spend 2 hours there.
We will continue.
I mean, we haven't done anything. I thought she was doing her EBS.
Well, she's got one of mine, live mic. Live mic. You want to do an interview with Rad?
You stole my leaflet.
That's right.
Yes, a live mic. Yeah. Do you want to do an interview with Rad? He was talking about what's going on in school, so I thought the best person to speak to. She's coming now. She's just got one more leaflet she wants to hand out. So
that's outreach in practice.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
Hi, Jasmine. My name is Radek. That's the microphone for you. Can you tell us about yourself? How did you came to this movement? About your speech in Oxford. How did you came to do what you do?
Is that where you first saw me in Oxford?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. If you can speak to the camera, yes, like here.
Okay,
should
so
be fine.
I first started speaking out in 2020, I think. Yeah, 2020 or 2021. That was after my one of our close family friends died from the COVID-19 injection. He took the injection, and then a week later he was found dead in his bed. And the thing is, it's not, he knew it was the injection that killed him, because he literally told my dad because we were quite close with him.
That
And
was
he-
your friend who died.
a family friend.
Family
one of us,
friend.
yeah. So he was close with my dad mainly, and so they talked a lot. And he said, "I can't lie to you, but I've taken the injection. I know it's gonna kill me. I'm already feeling bad, but I just couldn't lie to you. I couldn't say that I hadn't had it." So, and he was healthy. He was very healthy and fine before he took it. And then a week later, he was found dead in his bed, and it's all because of his daughter. It was like peer pressure, you know. That's happened a lot. And his daughter was basically saying to him, right, if you don't take this injection, you can't see the kids, you can't see me, you can't see anyone. So he loves his daughter, so he took it, but he knew it was gonna kill him. He knew what he knew. He was very awake like us, and he knew what would happen, but he just peer pressure really. So and then Boris came. He said I'm coming for the kids with the injection, and that was it. I'm like, I don't want that in me. I don't want whatever my friend had in me or in any of my friends. So I just started to speak out about it.
How old are you, and how? This is unusual for a person your age to actually do those things, engage in activism. You were very outspoken in climate change propaganda. We got Greta Thunberg, so you're now face of the freedom movement. When you're speaking out against likes of Klaus Schwab, World Economic Forum, politicians destroying your future. Can you tell me about this? That was your famous speech in Oxford.
Oxford, yes. Okay. So in Oxford, I talked about like the 15-minute cities as well, didn't I? So that they've seemed to sort of calm down, I think, on that one. But the thing is, with the 15-minute cities, you're basically in your zone, and they're gonna stop you. They're gonna stop you from leaving your zone and going in. So that's like an infringement on our freedom. So we're not gonna go anywhere. It's gonna stop us from going anywhere, and we're not gonna see people who are in another zone. And but like you, yeah.
But it's all creeping in. They're still putting cameras.
I know.
This is what people don't see, because this is just taking it, removing mantills, forcing you to self-scan, and then forcing you to go cashless. One step at a time. They're taking the choice away. They say it's for your convenience, but they will say you can't live, or why do you need to live? You understand?
Yeah. I mean, there was one time, me and my parents, we went to London like last Wednesday, I'd say, and a couple of weeks ago. And me and my dad, we were just waiting for my mum to come out of a shop, and across the street, we saw an Amazon. I can't remember. It was like It wasn't like an Amazon like parcel. It
Amazon Go, where there's
like,
no stuff. You just enter, scan in, cashless.
It was great. I was shocked. I mean, I've never seen something like that. I've never seen that before. So, I mean, of course, I've seen it online, but that's the first time I've seen it in real life. And and you have to scan the QR code to get in. And it was shocking. There was one worker at the entrance, and he was just monitoring everyone and looking. So my dad, he went in and he filmed it. He filmed what they're doing. It's disgusting.
But then this seems to be painted like convenience, that you will get products quickly, no cash involved, etc. But then the next thing that can happen is your barcode will not let you in.
Yeah.
You might be literally stopped from getting food. If everything will be transformed that way, then it means there's no access. If you're a person going to protest, next time you will go to petrol station, they will not sell you fuel. This is how the social credit system operates in China, where if you're against the government, you can't travel, you can't buy bus ticket, you will not be able to get the mortgage, send your children to school. It's tyranny. That's the way we're being softly conditioned, but that's where it's going. Oh, it's just a camera. Why do you need camera every 500 meters?
Yeah, I don't want to be watched, like when I'm walking home or when I'm on my way home or on my way to a shop. I don't want them watching me, spying on me 24/7. Like, Why would anyone want that? I mean, they want to know everything you think, everything you do, everything you say. They want to be in control of that, and they're just going to keep watching you every day and watching what you're doing, watching what you're saying. And like you were saying, I'm going to bring in the injections and the CBDCs about entering shops. With the central bank digital currencies, they're going to stop you from going into the shops because they're not going to let you. They're not going to let you. The barriers aren't going to open. They're not going to let you into the shops because, like for example, if you haven't topped up with your injections, that your CBDC, like your bank account won't work. So you'll be limited to what you can do, what you can buy, what you can do, what you can use your money on.
We witnessed this in Canada when the government froze bank accounts for people protesting, disabled their driving license and insurances. This is tyranny. We had this in communistic Poland. We had coupons. Literally, you would have physical piece of paper, and you will be allowed X amount of kilograms or pounds of sugar, flour. You will not be able to go to shop and buy products. This will be restricted for you. But then with CBDC, it will be even more crafty because I can give you my 2 coupons, and you will have 4 kilos of sugar, 8 pounds instead of 4. But with CBDC, I won't be able to do it. And this will be all conditioned. Like you will post something on Facebook, whatever. Now they will restrict you in every other way. So this is what you were saying in Oxford, that this is taking your childhood.
It is.
Because like I feel like I got son which is age 6.5. Sorry, how old are you?
I'm 12. I'm really, honestly, I'm terrified for my future. I mean, at this point, I don't even know if I've got one. But if I do have a future, I don't want CBDCs. I don't want digital IDs. I don't want like carbon footprint trackers, and I don't want to be restricted on what I do, what I say, what I think. I don't want.
This is digital prison that they're putting us in without choice, and we did nothing wrong.
Exactly.
To be put in that prison.
That's just sick. I mean, the thing that really bugs me is that people are so blind that they can't see what's being put in front of their eyes. They can't see what's happening, and they're just going to accept it because the government's just going to lie to them again. I just don't want that for my future. I really don't want to be living like that. I don't want to be in that situation.
When I spoke with the Daman, there was one thing that we discussed. Like society doesn't just turn communistic or fascistic. It's not just dictatorship or politicians. It's people, the population that enables it. So if child like you can stand up and speak up, like I said, unfortunately there is just black and white. You are either against it or you are enabling it at least. Because you are either benefiting from the system that is being rolled out. Some people make money on those pharmaceutical products. They benefit directly. So they are actively acting against the population. But some people will think, I will just turn my head around. But they are enabling this. They are enabling injustice. They are enabling fascistic society to come to life.
And by the time some, like, the people realise what's happening, they're going to think, oh, nah. But it's too late. It's too late. They've already pushed it through. I mean, it's too late by that point. They can't do anything.
With all this brainwashing that is happening in school, there was that famous video recently where girls were arguing with teacher who told them off for not accepting one person pretending that she's a cat.
Oh, the school in Rye, yeah.
Yeah, that was so ridiculous.
That is just disgusting.
How do you feel about your education? Are you getting similar things pushed on you in your school, or?
Personally, me, I am not getting this abuse in my schools. I'm not getting such terrible, disgusting indoctrination. I'm not getting that through my school.
Can you just use microphone?
Sorry, but I've seen it. Like, I feel like they're not really telling everyone about what they're doing, because I know it's happening. For example, like that school in Rye with the cat. I mean, that's just disgusting. I mean, me and my dad, we saw this video. We saw this video online, and it was about 2 drag queens that went into this school. They were only like 5 and 6 year olds, and there were these 2 drag queens, and the poor kids, they thought they were going to actually meet queens, like princesses with tiaras and dresses. And as soon as the drag queens walked into the school, their expressions, they dropped, completely confused, scared, disturbed. Like, that's just what they looked like.
There was a simple question: why can't be a drag show for citizens, senior citizens? Why can't they have drag story hour in a senior home? Why they need to indoctrinate children? And as well, why conversely, why can't you have senior citizen hour in your school where you have elder people telling you stories of their life? What would be more inspirational for you?
Well, what they're telling the kids in the school, what these drag queens, these transvestites, these disgusting people that are going into the schools, I mean, even the teachers, they're involved in this. The teachers are teaching the kids.
They're
schools,
enabling
the young
it.
Kids. Yeah.
They should be protecting children. When I'm sending my son to school, I trust teachers to do the right thing.
I mean, schools aren't schools anymore. Schools, they are meant to teach you about maths, English, science, history, geography, all the subjects.
They should identify, are you predestined to be musician, or
Yes.
you're better as a joiner.
Yeah.
They should identify your skills and
and focus, work on your skills. They shouldn't be teaching the kids about, in these PSHE lessons. I have them, I have had those, and I have been taught about this before. But that was in primary schools. They're teaching kids about what sex is and what happens during sex and how you create babies and how it happens, sort of thing. And they even, I mean, they've got kids to label they've got a picture of, for example, like a vagina or a penis, and you have to label what every thing is. Like, oh yeah, that's the ovaries. And it's disgusting. It's absolutely vile. I can't even look at it.
So for a child, you can't get tattoo, you can't buy cigarettes, you can't buy alcohol, but you're okay to mutilate. To undergo life-changing surgery that can render you infertile. And adult people can be very emotional and can do stupid things on one day of their life.
Yeah.
So if a child that is not developed yet will make a decision that will potentially harm them for their life, because after mutilation they will be infertile, they will be suffering. There's so many people. And now there is irony of this: people who detransition it, they undergo surgery and they reverted back to their original sex, because that's the whole lie that they don't explain. This the change of sex is not possible.
No, you can't.
You can't change biology.
Your sex.
You can only change appearance of your sex. So
Yeah.
you can do like a makeup on bit of plastic surgery,
Exactly, you
but
can
you
do what you
cannot
want.
change
You
your
can't
biological body.
physically,
So
no.
why the school institution is confusing the children about their very own bodies?
I mean, like, for example, me personally, I could identify myself as an animal, as a tiger. I could identify myself as a tiger.
But you're a lion. You're
Yeah,
British.
a lion.
You're a British lion.
You could identify yourself as a cub, future lion.
But you get my point. I could identify myself as a lion or an animal, any animal, right? And I could say, right, I want all of you, everyone here, I want you all to call me and see me as a lion or a tiger. And I could change the way I look, dress in a lion's costume, have a tail attached, ears attached, a little mane attached as well. But there's always going to be this feeling of lack. There's always going to be this feeling that I'm not completely a tiger. I'm not going to feel like a natural tiger because I'm not.
Lion's costume, look.
I'm just reading live stream as we speak. People are saying that you're amazing. That's brilliant what you're doing. You're making waves. That's what I want to explain to you. That you're showing the courage. As a child, you're showing the courage which adults lack. This is shocking for me personally. Like I said, I had my life. I'm not thinking about my life. I'm thinking about the life of my son.
I want to thank all of the parents who are actually standing up for my future, for the kids' future. I want to thank all the adults as well. They aren't even necessarily parents. They're just fighting for the kids because, I mean, sometimes I really do wish that I wasn't born in this century, this decade. I really wish I didn't have to go through this. What they're planning and this section of like time, this period in time. I just wish I didn't have to experience it. But I'm so thankful for all the parents and everyone, all the people who are actually standing up for my future. And it's shocking how the kids aren't doing it. It's shocking. It's their future. I mean, they don't care.
I was really proud of those girls who had the courage to speak up against the teacher.
Definitely. I mean,
But this shouldn't happen in the first place. This is what is wrong. I'm 41 now, and I've been through school, but I never felt threatened at school. I never felt anything like sexual being done to me. I never felt abuse.
No.
I was just being shown. That's the math, that's the biology, geography, that's the technical classes where you will learn yourself like bit of DIY or how to make a sandwich. Or we had a lesson where they would teach us how to learn to drive a push bike. Yeah? I remember this from my school, but I never experienced anything that was being pushed on children.
In my primary school, this last school I was in, we had these disgusting lessons on Fridays, every Friday at the end of the day, and it was PSHE lessons.
What stands for?
I'll tell you,
PSHE?
Personal Social Health Education. I don't know, it hasn't got much anything to do with that, it's just talking about sex.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know, I mean, and we were being taught this, and one lesson, I remember this very vividly, and I cried. I wasn't the only one who cried. I mean, I was so disturbed by what they were like forcing into my brain, my head, and it was disgusting. I mean, they show us pictures, right? And it was vile. Me and another, we were just distraught. We were crying. I was sent out of the class because I was like creating so much, like distracting everyone else because I was crying. So I was taken out of the class just so I could have a minute. And it was disgusting. I mean, I'm sure they didn't teach this. They never used to teach this. I mean,
I had a biology class which was not sexual. It just explained. That's the difference. That's the male, female. There are parts which are different. We got different bodies. That's how pregnancy happens. In 9 months you can have baby. There was nothing of indoctrination. There was information which is there.
Did you know they're teaching kids to masturbate?
No.
They are literally teaching kids how to touch themselves, touch others. It's disgusting, honestly.
Is that really what you experience at school on your classes?
There was this woman, she came out talking about this, and she was saying how they're teaching kids like to masturbate, to touch, and that it's not wrong to do that. I mean, how is that not wrong? That's just gross. Why are they teaching kids that? What is wrong with the teachers nowadays? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not all teachers. Some teachers, they do what they're meant to do.
Have you heard about teacher being sacked because he didn't use chose pronouns? So if I will now consider myself hamster and you won't refer to me as a hamster, then you're now racist, you're bigot, whatever. And if you're a teacher and you're not referring to me as I want, then you can get sacked. This is completely out of order. This is so corrupt. So the boy says he's a girl now, and the teacher refused to call him a girl.
Good for the teacher.
And the teacher was sacked. So this is what the system is pushing. But this injustice is only possible because people are tolerating this. And that's why I wanted to show you and speak to people who are on outreach, because it takes all of us to say no. 68 million people, and there is just 190,000 army, 146,000 police, and whatever, 3,000 politicians. That's all it is. And 68 million people. What if everybody will say no? I'm not doing
Exactly.
this. I'm not taking
That's
this.
it. Their plan. They will just stop.
It could
could
end
stop.
up tomorrow, and that's what
It
we
could
need.
if everyone
If-
just
if-
said no.
I want to embarrass people. Again, this is, in a sense, I want to praise your courage, but I want to embarrass people. If I can speak, if you can speak, and you know,
Exactly.
I wasn't born in this country. I came here. I'm an immigrant. If I can come and do things, if child can do things, why can't you?
Exactly.
One person at a time. Just say no. Show them finger.
Exactly. I mean, everyone should be standing up. But I say again, I mean, the kids. They're being told not to tell their parents about this, and they're being told that if they want to change their gender, don't go to their parents. Go to a random stranger. Go to the teachers. Go to a trusted adult. But you can't trust your parents, sort of thing. I mean, it's just they're literally being told not to go to the parents.
This
to talk
is
about
grooming.
It
Because
is, it's
even
gr- it
even
is.
if there will be something happening with you as a child, as your parents, I would like to hear. I should be, as a parent, the first person that you tell that you've got
Exactly,
problem.
'cause, you know, you're my parent. You're the most trusted person that I trust. You are the one person that I always tell everything. But the teachers, they're saying, oh no, we come before parents. You need to talk to us if you want to change your gender, if you're worried about something, if you don't think you belong in your body. How can you...
Again, this was from Canada. Situation when father was arrested for not referring to chosen pronouns. I'm not sure whether this was boy considering himself a girl or girl considering her a boy. I don't remember which one was, but the fact was, because he refused to speak to the child as it wanted, they arrested him. That was in Canada. It's completely out of order. The government shouldn't be intervening in that.
Exactly.
And then fair play, if you reach adulthood, everybody reach 21 years when the body is fully developed, and then you do as you please.
Yeah,
You
can
can't
do
have
what
tattoo.
You want. It's your choice.
You can't have tattoo till you're age 21. So
Yeah.
why can't you have transition? And then
Exactly.
this was this week's Telegraph. So we got 7 million people on the waiting list on NHS. The people are complaining there's no money on NHS. So there are people who are literally nearly dying because they can't access the health service. But there are money to mutilate children as
Yeah.
young as 7-year-old.
They would rather change a child's gender. They can't change a child's gender, but
No.
you get what I mean. They'd rather do that than save someone's life.
Now there's a big business behind it. It costs over a lifetime that one person that will be hurt by this transition, but this mutilation surgery, it is making the companies about £1 million. Cost of surgery, cost
Yeah.
of care, cost of antibiotics, because they need to now live life dependent on drugs, because their body is now harmed, is damaged,
Yeah.
but the hormones remain the same. Your girl, I'm a man, we got this female-male bodies,
Yes.
yeah? And if you make changes to it, body still produce same hormones, yeah? So you need to fight it with taking drugs, and this is just deteriorating the health. It's not natural. It's something that you force on body. But from point of view of companies, they make like £1 million over lifetime from you, and then they got somebody who is completely broken, because then there's no society. Like there's broken relation between parents. How can that kind of person make meaningful relation in their life?
Exactly.
They will not be able to find parent, boyfriend, girlfriend,
No.
start a family, create,
can't.
get married, create family. They're demoralized. That's what it's
Yeah.
all about. It's breaking the body and breaking the mind. That's what they're doing. And they're attacking children.
They
And
are.
I find this despicable.
It's disgusting. It is.
And that's what I'm doing this, because I'm from Poland. We used to be under communistic regime. And if that generation of my parents and grandparents was stood up to the tyrannical government, we would be still under dictatorship. So I owe this to my child. So that's why I'm here, for my son, for your generation, for you. I don't care about my own life. in that respect. I have my life. I experienced my life, but I'm just sick of what they're doing to you, to my son, to next generation. This cannot be tolerated, and this ends when we all say no.
Exactly.
We cannot.
We need to say no, and that's it.
Demon said, is if there will be woman raped down there on the other side of street, and you walk past, you're enabling this. If you just say it's not my problem, you're accepting injustice, and you're enabling it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly, yeah. I mean, me and my parents, me and my dad, we were doing outreach. Can't remember what day it was. It was last week at some point, and we went outreaching with a lady. She was in a wheelchair. She'd had the injection, and her kid, she said she really regrets it. She doesn't want the injection. She doesn't want it again, ever. She's never going to have any more. But she's got a little girl and a little boy as well. So she's got 2 kids, and I think one of them, I think it's the girl, she pointed to a transgender or a drag queen across the street, and she's like, Mum, I don't want to be rude, but what is that? So it's confusing the kids. I mean, they're going to grow up not knowing what they are.
Yes.
Like, they're not going to know what gender they are.
Because they're confusing you about, and this is development phase for human psyche. When they're confusing children about their very own body, this cannot be education. This is harmful indoctrination.
It is. Yeah.
How do you find, you said that you're surprised with children not doing the same. I was just checking. So
if I'm going to be honest, here, I am quite surprised that the children aren't standing up for this. But then again, the children are the ones who are being groomed in schools. So they don't know anything. But for the kids who know, but they're not speaking out, they should be speaking. They should be doing something. And I have actually heard a couple of kids who are just speaking out. Actually, I've heard of a boy who spoke out in Downing Street, I'm pretty sure, and those 2 girls in Rye. I mean, it's good, but I'm sure there's more kids who are aware of what's going on, but they're not doing anything. They're not speaking out, and they need to. They have to speak out because it's their future.
I just got comment from live stream. At 65, that's one lady, Joan. At 65, I have undertaken 26 marches in London, and I will never stand down, ever. We are here to protect our children, all children. That's what it's all about. That's why they're targeting vulnerable. This is despicable. If you got something against adults, or you want to force something, you want to discuss something, they're not going after adults because adults will push back. But for children who don't understand and being confused from start, this is really shocking.
Yeah, I can't do this on my own. I can't fight me. I can't. Just me. I can't. I need more kids. I need a lot more kids. I mean, I can't do this on my own. I can't fight this by myself. It's my generation. It's our generation. It's the kids' generation, and they're not doing anything about it. I mean, some kids, they just don't care.
Majority of people don't care, but I also understand this. We don't need to convince everybody. If you think like proportion, like head is 10% of the total body, brain is like 3%, the body goes like machine, it just follows. But it's brain that is thinking. We literally need to convince 2 or 3% of society that this is not acceptable. Because end of the day, it's those children who are going on the drug shows. They're not traveling there by bus, or they're not walking through forest. They're being dropped there by their parents. Why parents are enabling this?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Why are the parents letting this
I wouldn't
happen? Why are the
ever
parents letting this
take my
continue?
child to grooming session because
Good, I mean,
because this is clear for me. It's nothing about political correctness. When I got sexual predator wanting to be in indecent exposure to the kids, why can't they do, like I said, senior story hour?
Yeah.
I would very much rather have an ex-firefighter grandpa telling you about his life, or
Yeah.
ex-soldier, whatever.
Yeah, we had that. We had that in my school. We had that. That normal, like, you know, people telling us about, people coming in, telling them about what they do, what their job's like. That is good. That is good education, because that's helping children, like, see what they might want to be when they grow up. But this drag queens,
It's grooming.
I mean, kids, what, you think all kids want to be a drag queen when they grow up?
No,
And they're forcing this down the children's throats.
and there is also there's so much spectrum of people who are, let's say, autistic, and as well with psychological research, most of people who got this tendency, they are just simply gay. They don't need body mutilation.
No,
They
yeah.
don't need to be forced. So it's also prejudice towards gay people, because if that's their nature, yeah, that they got this kind of predisposition, then you're now forcing them. If I'm a gay, then you shouldn't be forcing me to become a girl.
No, yeah.
And then again, I can't become a girl even if you butcher me,
Yeah.
because physically you will not change
You
my
can't,
body.
you
You can
can't.
put
It's
a
just
wig on
impossible.
me. You can put
Yeah,
fake boobs
make-
or
makeup and
make
dresses.
appearance of
Yeah.
of a girl,
But you
of a
won't
female.
become one.
But I will never be turned
You
into
won't
one.
actually become a female, because you've got man DNA, you've got man genes. You haven't got women, you haven't got female genes or female DNA. So you will never become the opposite gender. It's just impossible.
That's why this boils down to morality, because that's why we're speaking to people. That's why things like outreach. That's why I'm doing live stream, because again, this is way of like handing leaflets. When we're going live, a few hundred people will watch this, and you never know. It's just like the same way that when you're speaking to them, you're handing your leaflet. You just need to keep on trying, getting to the people's head, because end of the day, that's all it is. It ends when we say no. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, we all need to say no.
It can literally stop overnight. When they
It
say
would.
2 weeks to flatten the curve, if we all say no, I had it. They can't force this. With merely 80,000 people protesting in London, police was completely helpless. They couldn't manage. 80,000 crowd. What can they
Yeah,
do about
it's-
68
yeah.
million?
I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is, if everyone just said no when they said we're going into lockdown, if everyone said no that moment, that time, that straight away, we wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't be doing this, because it would have stopped.
Moral choices. So many people will regret, and this is hard thing to say,
Yeah.
but it needs to be said. For those people who refuse to see their loved one because tyrannical government told you. But the next thing, will you sacrifice life of your child? Because that's where it's heading.
Exactly, it is.
You have to say no. I have to say no. You have to say no. We all have to say no. Society
Yeah.
turns fascistic or communistic. Society turns into totalitarian dictatorship because the majority follows. Because people are enabling this. And I'm sorry, but if you're not against it, you are either active collaborator or you're enabler. I'm sorry, but there's no in between.
No.
We are turning, and this was in the past, society turning fascistic. There was World War, communistic. It was only possible because people didn't say no. 100 million people killed by starvation in China. Millions of people killed during World War.
Yeah.
For the ideology, for a wicked ideology. But all it says, it just says no. 68 million people. And if you can have 12-year-old girl running around the country, speaking up, speaking against the major politicians, being activists, what is your excuse? There's no. It's all about morality, the basic morality. That's what we are calling for. Because if you accept this, you are enabling this, or you're pushing this.
Yeah.
This is the moral question for each one of us. We need to choose our side, because this is creeping in. One camera at the time, one restriction at the time. Things are being removed. You're being stripped of choice. Oh, it's just a cashless society. It's just self-scanning tills. It's just unmanned shop. but then you disobey, you won't eat. And there's not even there's no manager to go and make your grief. You will be talking to the wall with the barcode reader, and then it will be too late.
Yeah.
That's
Sometimes
the call.
It really makes me angry actually, because when we're handing out leaflets and I see parents, and I'm trying to hand out like what they're teaching in the kids' schools, they say no thanks, and it's like, so you don't care. I mean, even my dad, he went up to some parents and he said, do you care about your children? And some said no. Like,
I get one thing with a public situation like this, when you're just handing leaflet, it's just a self-defense mechanism. People, there is no real community. Just look at those people. They just walk past. There is no sense of community. Nobody will just stop you. Hey, how are you?
yeah, no.
Nobody wants to know your name. Nobody knows to speak to you and make a real connection. People are stuck to their dumb phones, yeah? Sorry, there was a smartphone and stupid people, yes? So this is dumbing society down. People didn't have those distractions, and they have to live together as a community, exchange goods and services. Now everybody thinks they're individual, but we're not. We should be creating family, society. This is community. Like, how many backgrounds is there? How many people from
Yeah.
so many towns and backgrounds?
Yeah.
We came together to leaflet and to approach and speak to people. There's no excuse. So that's what it's all about. We have to
Yeah.
say no, and just look. That's the example. That's what we're standing for. It's our children.
Yeah.
If we should not leave children on the mercy of predator, we need to stand up. We say no. We don't tolerate those gender indoctrination. Just basic education, that's what should be provided. Adult people can do as they please. We got no problem. It's tolerant society. But to push indoctrination and to mutilate children is no. And there's certain things, like let's say Costa. You heard about Costa advertisement?
Yeah.
They used a picture of a mutilated cartoon, yeah, like with the scars after double mastectomy. And I just said, I will never ever buy their coffee.
Yeah.
It is as simple as that. And what if 68 million people will say, no, you're done,
Yeah,
Costa.
boycott.
Done and
Boycott.
busted. That's all we need to do. Push. It's non-violent, but it only got strength if we give it strength. 68 million people. If we say no, it's done. Done and dusted. But we need that. So thank you very much for
Thank you,
today.
yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say today?
There's a couple of things. I'm not saying I don't hate or like dislike or anything like that.
No,
I
it's
have
not
nothing
about-
against gay people.
Yeah,
or
it's not
lesbian
about
or
this.
nothing like
It's
that.
about indoctrination.
Yeah.
We're not against people's choices, but when you're forcing indoctrinating children before they're conscious, and that's why we got people who did transition and they regret, because the change is irreversible. It is not the fact that you will paint your hair blue
yeah.
and you can change, or even if you cut them completely, they will regrow and you'll just embarrass yourself for 12 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's life-changing surgery which can render you infertile, and this shouldn't be there in the past, because there is procedure. It was same like with pandemic. It was just hijacked. This was corruption, the hijack of the system, because every country had their procedure, what to do within pandemic. So first thing is not vaccinate, because you're now making the virus stronger. You're creating variants, whatever, because you're messing with the way. It is same like they say don't take too much antibiotics, or don't take antibiotics for a reason, because if you take antibiotics when you don't need them, when you will need them, they will not work. That's how it works. So all this system, same for, let's say, if somebody feel that they got this gender dysphoria, there are procedures, there are psychological studies that they should go under, there's procedure that they should have before any surgery. It shouldn't be just like, oh, you're confused, or you're a bit autistic, or you're a bit shy. Oh no, you must be transgender. We just need to chop your tits off, and it's crazy. It's absolutely ridiculous, and this is life-changing procedure.
And I just wish people would wake up. Really, I just wish people would stand up for their kids' futures, for my future, and for this generation's future. So
We will. We don't need to convince 100%, but we need to keep going. Never get discouraged. Like nothing is predestined. The future is how we will set, and we just need to continue to do what we're doing, because all it takes. There was 1 million people protesting in London. We just need 2.4 million. That's all it is. People like you, me, Damon, all people who are doing outreach, actively pushing and balancing politics, taking people to account. Just 2 million people, and we can balance the system. That's what it is. It's just a problem with corruption. That's what we need to say. No, we will not tolerate this. We're not having it, and everybody needs to understand this. There's no in between. This is black and white, and regardless of our systems of beliefs, this is what those people are pushing. This is fascistic society, hijacked by big business. They want to make money. I just explained. Every transitioning person is 1 million for them. It's all cold calculated business. There's no money in somebody's identity. If you feel like you're gay or lesbian, there's no money in it. But when they do surgery and you're lifelong dependent on drugs or on specialistic care and etc., you need to buy special items. That's what they're pushing. This it's backed by big business, and it's not. Our politicians become spineless. They work for us. They should be standing.
They work for us. We don't work for them.
How come churches are accepting this? Churches, places of worship, teachers.
It's Satanist.
Where is authority of those people? Where's more basic morality?
It's satanic, and the churches are working with it.
Parents who are taking their children, I would say fuck off. Sorry for my French. I will not take my child to expose this to transvestites, exposing their parts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Exactly.
It does nothing for my child.
No.
So yes, we have to.
Yeah, Rad, we're just thinking we might just move location down to the market for an hour.
Yes. So we will be just dropping leaflets.
Okay.
I will leave live stream on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
I will just speaking to rest of guys. Thank you very much. I really want to say thank you that you're standing up, and again, just don't lose courage. Yeah. It's like this is battle for the mind. They cannot force. There's not enough, like, Banana Republic people with machine guns. They got no physical power to force all of us into submission. That's why they want to break people's mind. They want us to grasp on each other. Oh, just report your neighbor, or he put offensive tweet, whatever. It's psychological terror because they got no physical power. If we all stand up, say no, it's done within a day. That's what we need to get to people's head. We don't tolerate this. We are standing up for future of our children. This is what we need to do. This is what we must do. You don't live for and work for Klaus Schwab and for all those psychopaths in charge. We are living for your future, for our children. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, yeah, go on. Have you got my bag?
Yes. Great interview. So that's where we are. Just a bit of sightseeing for you.
Rad, are you okay with us?
Yes, I will follow. Now that's York Minster, York Cathedral. Beautiful weather today. Most people, they are just sleepwalking, so we need to understand that and just do the best. We just need 2.5 million people to actively oppose this, and will be done and dusted. So you see those people, when there's no cameras, they still are leafleting, they're still there with their uniforms, speakers, handing leaflets. Rain, sun or snow, wind, regardless of weather, they're out there leafleting, speaking to people. So you will see, if you haven't been in York, beautiful old town, what happened to architecture, why we're not building beautiful buildings. It's mind control. They want us broken, but we can create beauty. That's what people understand back in the day. That's why they were building magnificent buildings. Right, so I will catch up with them. It isn't protest as such, it's outreach, handing leaflets, talking to people, engaging with them. If each one of us will speak to one person, and there's a million of us, in one day there could be 2 million of us. We really need to make a moral choice. I don't enjoy doing this. I'm pretty sure that everybody who is doing this is going through difficult period. People pay the price getting to places, printing leaflets, making efforts, spending their time away from the family, talking to strangers. This is not what people enjoy. This is challenging. But if we don't do it, what's the alternative? So we don't want to enable this.
Where is it going to be?
Yes, can you take picture of my backpack? That's my social media. I'm live streaming there. Yes. Are you Jasmine father? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much, sir, for supporting your beautiful child.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
Would-
It's great to have a child that's awake.
Yes.
There's not enough of them.
Would you mind speaking with us on live stream?
Yeah,
Just
sure.
let me adjust this a little.
I'm toothless.
Just 1 second. I will just turn this round. So I'm here with Jasmine father. What's your name, sir?
Ian.
Ian. How it come that your daughter was speaking at public rally? How you find this? How you feel about this as parent?
Right. Well, right from day one, we didn't believe that there was a deadly pandemic. We go by evidence in the environment, and we didn't see anybody getting sick or anybody sneezing, coughing, dropping dead in the street. So we was waiting to see that, and it never happened. So we never believed it. We started to look into it and do research, and we found some real experts, not the fake scientists that the government's put up, but real experts like Mike Eden, Peter McCullough, Robert Malone, the inventor of the mRNA. These sort of people were telling everybody, do not take the vaccine, don't take anything with the word vaccine. These are real professional people. And a friend of ours, his family, they were all being injected with this, and they said to him, look, you either have the injection or you won't be able to see your children. So he took it. Within a few days, he started getting really sick, and he was telling us the injection is causing me to be sick, and a couple of days later he was found dead in his bed.
Jasmine mentioned that friend.
Yeah, and that was it then. When Boris Johnson said, I'm coming for the children, Jasmine said, there ain't no way they're going to stick that crap inside me. So She went to London, stood outside Downing Street gate shouting at Boris Johnson, and thought, I need to get around the country and tell all the kids not to take this poison. So that's really how we got into it.
But definitely you
If it weren't
supported
for our
her as a
friend.
parent, and
Yeah.
it takes effort, it's logistic money to
Yeah, it does.
travel around the
Yeah,
country
absolutely. Yeah, it does. Yeah, people think that we get paid. No, we don't get paid. This costs a lot of money for us to go around and
I'm like you, I got a child, but it's younger. It's less than 7 years old, and I'm just worried.
yeah,
That's why I'm here.
yeah, of course.
I'm here for my son, for your daughter, for our children. We had our life,
Yeah,
but what we're cooking for, or we allowing, because if we don't protest and we don't do anything, we accept what those people are.
exactly. And then they'll just carry on doing whatever they want to do. You know, it's quite disgusting, really. What they're doing in the schools is, in my it's a crime. It is a crime. Crime against the children. And, you know, take it, just an example. If there was a guy who went out and picked up a young woman and he raped her and then murdered her and left her in the ditch, everybody would see him as a monster, call him a monster, and he'd be locked up for a long time. And yet we have people in positions of authority that are doing this to lots and lots of people in the country. And what happens to them? Why has no one got the backbone to arrest them and deal with them appropriately? Because this has got to stop. It has to stop. There is no choice. It's either that or, well, we'll be turned into AI bloody half robot, half human. Probably not human at all soon. You know, I mean, where does it end? Where does it end? Why do these people not get charged with the crimes that they're committing?
I spoke with your daughter and with Damon, and it's one thing. It ends when we all say no.
Yeah, people need to wake up. And this is a thing that I find difficult, especially when you're handing out leaflets with the information, and you see parents with children, and you say, are you concerned about your child? And they say, no. You know, they watch TV. They go to work, they come home, they have dinner, they sit in front of TV, they go to sleep. Next day it's the same routine over and over. And while they watch that television, it is hypnotising them, brainwashing them to believe that the government is their only source of authority and truth, when actually they're just lying. They're lying to all the people. They're putting out their own version of events, which is crooked.
Yeah, it's not science, it's political
It's evil.
indoctrination.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't know.
How's your wife? Is she supporting you?
Yeah, she supports Jasmine in what she's doing. She's very busy, so that's why she's not around very much. But she's very proud of Jasmine and what she does.
I'm not surprised. I'll be super proud. I'm not sure if you came across a guy called Mike McLeaf. He was attending a rally with 3 of his sons and wife. You might have seen them. They were
I've heard
also
about them.
they were also speaking up as a speakers. So I did some footage with them on a rally. So again, I feel personally embarrassed that children are forced to speak up.
Yeah.
Why we as adults we are even allowing this?
Yeah. Where are the men? Where are the men in this country? And what's happened to them? You go back 50 years, no man would have stood for this stuff that's going on.
No.
They just wouldn't have put up with it. No. It's a sad state of affairs, really. Really. I mean, there's more mothers standing up against this than there are fathers.
I was speaking to a very close friend of mine last week. We haven't seen each other since time when I was at university, 20 years. And he said, in the past, people, they had a placard that TV lies. What happened? And now they just take everything and they don't stand up I'm Polish. We had this solidarity movement. The whole country
I remember
uprised.
that. Yeah.
The whole country uprised against the regime.
Yeah, I remember.
Where
that.
is that?
Yeah,
where-
exactly. Where is it? Where is
People say we had it. Enough.
it? France is good for that,
Yes.
and they're a good example. But the English, I don't know. It seems to me like the government can do whatever they like to the English, and the English will take it.
There was that meme joke with the Labrador and werewolf, and there was Labrador British when retirement age is increased to 67, just a happy Labrador, and the mad werewolf French when they said the retirement age is increased to 62. It's a joke, but then this is telling much about mentality that they take no abuse from government. I mean, they protest. The Yellow Jacket movement, their protest. People need to do this.
Yeah.
They need to speak
they
up.
do. They
The
do.
part of democracy is to be on the street, to have your voice heard and say no.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit. It's like climate change. You know, you talk to most people and they believe in it. Well, why do you believe in it? You know, when the pandemic started, I go back to that. I was looking in my environment. Nobody was getting sick. No one's sneezing. No one's dropping dead. Nobody I knew was sick or ill. So where was it?
I kid you not.
It's the same with
I
climate
travel all over UK, live streaming those protests since 2020. I must have mixed personally with at least 3 million people over 3 years. I was in Berlin, Denmark, Ireland, Northern Ireland, all over UK, Scotland, everywhere. If there would be something, I should be dead 10 times over.
Exactly. Yeah, you should.
And I'm a shy guy. I never hugged so many people, strangers, than on Freedom Rally. I never felt more welcome. Because the amount of hugs, the connection, like we don't know each other. We just met 5 minutes ago. We didn't know each other. We were talking like we're friends.
Yeah.
Instantly, the connection with people in this movement.
Yeah.
It's so uplifting. The
It
million
is,
people
it is,
that
it
march
is.
in London.
Yeah.
The power, the connection.
Yeah.
We need to
Yeah.
restore this back. Community.
We seem to be the ones who care, and all the other ones that just walk on by, thinking, "Oh, whatever they think, you know, whatever the government does, that's okay, that's fine." They're just so ignorant.
No, it's not okay.
It's
That's
not
what-
okay.
It's not okay.
Not okay. And if only you could get through to them people and say, look, you need to really pay attention to this, because if you don't, it's going to get worse and worse. You know, you talk to them about 15-minute neighbourhoods. They don't know what 15-minute neighbourhoods are. And if you say, well, you're not going to be allowed out of your zone without a digital ID, if you go out of your zone, it will switch off, and then when you come back in the zone, it will switch back on. Without your digital ID, you can't go in a supermarket, you can't buy and sell. People just think you're cuckoo, you're conspiracy theorist.
And 6 months later,
It
it's
happened.
a news in press.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's crazy. Shall we catch up with the guys? We can speak while we're walking, no problem.
Yeah.
It's just I think
I
this
mean, you look at
society.
these young girls, none of them have got a clue what's going on.
No.
And they don't really care. They look at the technology that's coming out and they think, wow, isn't that cool? But none of them realise that the technology is going to enslave them.
But technology in itself is neutral. Look, the same way
It is.
we're just.
It's how you use it.
Yes, it's how you use it. I can take a knife and make a sandwich, or
Yeah,
I can
that's
go and
right.
stab
That's right.
somebody.
Yeah.
It's a choice.
Yeah.
So technology in itself is neutral. So for instance, we are now using technology that they're using to spy on us, and we're using to broadcast to people because we got
Yeah.
no exposure in mainstream media.
But we're not harming anybody by doing this.
No.
Whereas those who are in control of the technology, well, they're the ones that can control it. Look at the censorship. If they manage to take away your freedom to think for yourself, which they will do, then the only thing you're going to know, the only truth you will know, is what you're getting over the internet.
Yes, which is censored and
It's all
limited.
censored, yeah.
And algorithm decide what
As
you
if
will see.
as if they're the only ones who know the truth.
Talking on that, people watching this, please bear in mind, don't be controlled by algorithm. If we're suppressed, you can still press share manually.
Yeah.
If every person will do 50 shares, we will get the reach back. But people are too lazy to even press the share button to share to groups, whatever. And we are then tied with what technology owners decide.
Yeah.
Because nobody, no Mark Zuckerberg, is stopping you from sharing independent media.
But they will take it down.
Of course, they are trying.
Yeah, they have that power to take it down. So, and they will call a lot of truth misinformation. If it doesn't fit their agenda or their narrative, they will say this is a lie, this is not true.
This is very definition of fascistic society. You've got unelected government dictating, creating monopoly with big businesses. They take control over everything, so food, energy, water. They censor information, they control information flow, and they also outlaw the protest. That's very definition of fascistic society. But with what the World Economic Forum is suggesting, they are also saying you will own nothing, which is part of the communistic doctrine, where they want to strip our property rights.
People will just, ordinary people will just say, oh, that will never happen. But unless they stand up, it will happen.
I was
It will
speaking,
take them to stand up.
when I was speaking with Damon, only 27% of people in UK own their houses. 73% got mortgage. And those people can be repossessed when they change EPC regulation, etc. Any excuse to strip them on that property. So it's just 25% people left, which you will attack with EPC, climate con, and all other regulation.
Cyber attack
And
on
you
the
will
banks.
you will force them to sell because there will be triple or quintuple tax because you got no mortgage you need to pay for CO2, whatever. It's nonsense, but people go along with this.
People go,
And
they
then
believe it. Yeah, they,
how come in the fifth richest country, people in the world, UK, people are struggling to heat their houses and to buy the food?
Yeah.
How come in a country where Englishman's man is his home is his castle, only 27% people own their homes? How come?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's they will get as much as we give them.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
We're just heading through York Centre. People are dropping leaflets. I'm just continuing interview. How do people react because your daughter become a public person? It's like Greta Thunberg of freedom movement, worldwide famous girl.
Yeah, she's very disappointing, Greta Thunberg, I gotta be honest. Very disappointing. She's definitely on the wrong side, but then she's been put there by her parents who've got money. She's got all that backing. The rich people are backing her. I guess she's in a difficult spot, really. She can't really pull out of it, even if she disagreed with what she's saying. But I'm disappointed. She needs to be on our side. She's on the wrong side. You know, I don't know. It's worrying. It is very worrying. It's worrying. If you know what they're doing, it's very worrying about the children and their future.
But we're here with little lion. So I said future is not predestined. We have to stand up. The game is not over till it's over, like football game. You play till 2 parts of the game are finished. There might be a few minutes extra. You don't give up. Oh, it's just like first half went wrong. No, you play till
Keep
its end.
playing. Yeah.
So I would say,
Christine Anderson.
literally, this can end in one day. 68 million people in this country. How much it will take of people saying, no, I had it.
Yeah, I think they need to have, they need to take more hits from the government before they're going to stand up. Another pandemic, maybe that will bring them out. It is on the cards. We've been told there's going to be another pandemic. Bill Gates has said it. Anthony
They got
Fauci.
crystal ball, like they can just tell.
They know when these viruses are going to appear, don't they?
Yeah.
So, and that's because they're designing it. They're making it happen.
And you need to be tested to know it, or even if you don't have it, act like you've got it.
Act like you got it. Yeah. That is
Even
one
if
of the
it's
most
not
crazy
hot,
things.
it's global boiling, so act like it's boiling.
Yeah.
Even if rain is pissing down 48 weeks a year, act like it's boiling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is what I would say. I mean, with the pandemic, there was no evidence in the environment that people were getting sick and dropping dead. And it's the same with the global warming. They tell you, we've had the hottest 6 weeks on record this year. Well, hold on a minute, it's just peed down on us for the last 6 weeks.
It's asymptomatic.
If it was global warming for real, it should be obvious to us all.
Yes,
Just like the pandemic should have been
you will
obvious
see
to us all.
that there
We'd
is.
be walking out of our houses and going, oh my God, that's hot out there, isn't it? We've got a problem.
There's drought, no rain, lack of water.
Yeah.
But I think this is like Monty Python-like in a country like UK where rain is pissing down 40 weeks a year. Sorry for my joke, but in a country where it rains pretty much non-stop, they're declaring hosepan ban and they're encouraging neighbors to grass on each other for.
Yeah. Getting the sheep to police the sheep. Yeah, they're doing a lot of that, aren't they? Oh yeah. I don't know.
Right, let's catch up with the guys.
Let's catch up.
Thank you.
But I think that is
This way, guys.
Do you know where they went?
Yeah.
Cool. So in meantime, for people on live stream, you can enjoy a bit of sightseeing with the freedom fighters being your tourist guide for today. But that's what it takes. It takes moms and dads to say no. It takes children to say no.
Yeah, they got to say, this is not the future that I want. I mean, once they get the chips in the brain, that's it. That's it. They're lost then. I mean, Yuval Noah Harari has told us clearly, you won't be able to think for yourself, you won't be able to make decisions for yourself. All of your decisions will be made for you by AI, even down to what you buy in a supermarket. So what kind of a life is that? Who wants that?
Only people in charge, they want that power.
They want that. Yeah.
Empathetic people, they want to live and they will let you live your life. You have your life, I will have mine. We can meet in the middle. We don't have to attack each other.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you won't be able to think to attack anybody anyway. You won't be able to think. Can you imagine having no thought for yourself? Not being able to think for yourself. People need to really wake up and they're going on like, well, this will never happen, but it is happening.
It is happening.
It's happening now. And people are just carrying on like this will never happen.
Oh, it's
That's
just
rubbish.
a cameras, it's just a cashless, it's just a barcode reader.
Yeah.
You just need pass to go out
Just a
from your
QR
house
code. Yeah.
when you never needed one.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Yeah.
no question asked.
Just madness. Step by step, they take us nearer and nearer to where they want us all to be, and the people go along with it. Crazy. The technology itself is okay, but it needs to be something like where you can log on and log off.
Yes.
If you don't have that choice, then you're a slave. You are just a slave.
Yeah, we need to catch up. There's guys there leafleting. Well, that's general distraction. People are just consuming, they're not paying attention. How do we want to live? That's the question. Thank you.
I think you got one shot of that and then me and you are still at the car park.
Shambles Market, famous street in York.
Oh, still live?
Yes, very good interviews. One of my best lives, seriously.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, thank you, Rad. Hi guys, can I give you a leaflet? Government taking out right
Last year.
Is it not a better spot than this?
Is there a better spot?
The place would be probably better.
You can see those people, rain or snow, they are out there fighting.
Raj just said one of the best lives he's ever had, so
Yes,
thank you, Raj.
that's correct.
Thank
Thank
you
you. Thank you. All
Thank
this
you for coming.
all these interesting conversations. That's what we need
Yeah.
to educate people.
And I also need to go give them a leaflet.
Yes. So you see, this is what he's doing, handing leaflets, encouraging people to get the information,
Oh, actually, you're one of us then. Yeah.
speaking, engaging. Nobody wants what they're pushing on us, but they are getting us by surprise. People don't understand what is being pushed.
There's loads of us in Wales. Like loads of conversations here. There is quite a few. Not many, but there has been quite a few.
Do you think the militant look's putting some people off?
Yes.
No, overall though, I mean, the thing is, this draws attention. I said, do you think the militant look might be putting some people off? No, overall,
you
look,
think you will slap them with parking ticket?
look, it draws attention, but we've had a positive responses today, quite a few. So yeah, and I'm just gonna get back to some leafleting,
Great.
reaching the people, leaflet by leaflet, person by person, step by step. All right,
Thank
cheers,
you.
Rad.
That's the dedication. Some unsung outreach hero.
I'm not an interviewer.
Come on.
I'm terrible.
Yeah, you're very good.
The dog is better, man. The dog is better. I'm terrible.
So
Your
this
view
man-
figures the split.
This man on the street, rain, sun or snow, always with leaflets, handing them out. Don't want limelight.
You could go to interview if you want.
3 years been doing this guy.
Since 9/11.
So those people don't get limelight, and they still do this. So we are at Shambles Market. It's Old Street in York. People are laughing or ignoring people leafleting, but this is so much different when there was full-blown hostility, when government was introducing fear policy and was telling that we're the threat, that we're disease spreaders, anti-vaxxers. But have no illusion, they will do this again. That's what they are ruling by power. This is terrorism. We don't have to tolerate this. Talk to strangers. So this gentleman is just driving past. You can see the leafleting in action. There's conversation, talking about concerns. That's the outreach, talking to strangers. Like I said, I'm pretty sure nobody likes to do it. Public speaking is really stressing. I don't enjoy broadcasting. This is my second language. I'm getting stressed that I will say something which is not grammatical, but I just do it. It just needs doing. So I can hide my feelings, it doesn't matter. You see? Just engaging in conversation, giving them leaflet. Getting attention. People don't care. Like, we are all glued to our phones, carrying on with the life, but life doesn't have to be miserable. So I think that's the confusion. Sorry for the noise, I got plenty of cables, microphones. That's small and large lion in action. Whole lion pack speaking. There we go, leaflets. This fella is reading the leaflet. but I'm really admiring courage of that child. I want my son to be so brave. He's getting into age of reason. I hope he will become activist and will not tolerate injustice. Talking to police.
Cheers, guys. Can't believe I just got two police officers to take a leaflet when I've said to them, can I give you a leaflet and some information about the government taking our rights and our freedoms away and possibly committing crimes against humanity.
That's just what
and they've took the leaflet and on camera as well. I mean, credit to them too.
What did you say during our interview? Most of those people, they're not corrupt.
Yeah.
They are trying to do the best. They got duty in their role. They are wanting to serve the society.
Sorry,
so they're not just there for the money.
Yeah.
They chose that path, which is public servant. So they chose this job.
I'm just looking now. I mean, you know, yeah. But the thing is though, they're told they're not allowed to take anything. They're not allowed to have a political view. So, thank you. Sorry. So to get them to just take it like that, they were so casual. You know, they seem quite laid back. So to get them to do that when you've got a camera there like that, I mean, you can't see Rad's cameras, but it literally, it's impressive. So, you know, fair play. Yeah.
Yes, that's all it is. One leaflet at the time, one conversation at the time, just getting there. You know, like the rock is being drilled by dripping water. It just drop by drop penetrates through the rock. So never ever quit. This is motivational stuff and as well educational stuff. Because quitters never win and winners never quit. The victory is not guaranteed, but quitting is guaranteed way to not win. It just takes effort. Look, one leaflet at a time, just speaking to people, getting them interested, drilling the rock. That's what it takes. Nobody is here to get the medal. Nobody is getting paid to do this. We paid to come here. We're spending our money and resources to drop those leaflets, to speak to people, to engage with them, to start the conversation. It's very much needed. That's how society was built. People talking to each other.
Our nation is under attack. I am here on behalf of your children and their future, so please pay attention. A small select group of globalists at the World Economic Forum, led by Klaus Schwab, has infiltrated our government with the intention of destroying our democracy, removing our human rights and constitution, and implementing a tyrannical system of control. Some MPs at the highest levels of our government and police force are now compromised and are wanted for treason, crimes against humanity, damicide and misconduct in public office. Our mainstream media have also been compromised and are complicit in these crimes of genocide, and together they were involved in the largest cover-up in history. It's extremely important that you reject the digital ID, which represents the prison key, and it is equally important that you reject the central bank digital currencies, also known as CBDCs, which represent the gates to the prison. Once we pass through the gates by accepting CBDCs, our freedoms and our human rights will be removed. Please keep using cash. Cash is king. Cash is freedom. Use it or lose it. This is a depopulation agenda known by the globalists as the Great Reset. In Florida, they have now made it illegal to give or receive the COVID-19 injections because they are calling it a biological weapon. Tony Blair has told us that many injections will be linked to the digital ID.
Yes.
And without our digital ID, we will not be able to buy or sell. Therefore, do not comply with any rule, act, statute, or piece of government legislation that violates any of your basic human rights. These include the right to assemble, the right to practice lawful dissent, the right to protest and hold government to account, the right to speak freely, the right to think freely, and the freedom to express ourselves. You adults, you must protect our right to move around our country freely, without paying any charges for entering the cities of our nation. This is the law. It is the 1707 Act of Unity law. And this law stands firm today as it did in 1707. These pollution charges are not the law. They require your consent. Do not consent, do not comply. 15 minutes open prisons are coming to your town. It is your duty under the Constitution to stop the building of this prison that your children are going to have to spend their whole lives within. We are now on a war footing, but please remain calm. Our supply of truthful, factual information is being cut off by our enemies. Since March of 2020, large pockets of the resistance have been formed throughout the country and our numbers are growing. To join the resistance, please scan the QR codes on the leaflets provided or visit the British Lines for Freedom website or social media accounts. Please take this opportunity to stock up on important information you will need that is being distributed by the members of our resistance. This is an information war. Remember, there is strength in numbers. We stand together united against a common enemy, and we must make a stand now for the children before it is too late. We are running out of time, and the clock is ticking. We can, we must, we will prevail. Good luck, and God bless.
As we walk down the street.
Yes, I will follow.
Implement this tyrannical system of control. Alive?
Yes, still alive.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, not like Glasgow in terms of the event or whatever, but still effective. The uptake when she was doing that was really positive. It draws attention. It draws positive attention. You know, so yeah. Even in small towns, so on and so forth, it's effective. So it's not just about the big events, it's about grassroots. And I just have to say on a personal note, I'm glad to be back doing grassroots stuff again. A lot of the time now I'm focusing on the Rebellion Tour, working behind the scenes on, you know, marketing, promotion, organising stuff, so on and so forth. But this is what I love to do, so I'm really glad to be just back on the streets, interacting with the general public, and it's really positive. And the thing is it gives you a lift when you get so many positive interactions and conversations.
I said this just before we spoke, that there is different reception now when they were painted as anti-vaxxer, as somebody danger, extremist. Now the reception is logical, because people can take your leaflet and just think for themselves, while they were put it in a fear state.
Yeah, overwhelmingly positive. and every person that I give a leaflet to, I just want to say I tell them what it is before I hand it to them, so that I know that at the end of the day, when I go home, every leaflet I've handed out, that person is receptive to the information that's on there and the content that's on there. I don't just hand them a leaflet because I don't know if they are receptive, so they could go and throw it in the bin halfway down the road. So it's hard, you could get tongue twisted at times because you've got 5, 6, 7 seconds to get your little bit of your selling point in. So you've got to talk fast and tell them quickly what it is. So, but I always do that, so I know that every leaflet I hand out, people are receptive. And it gives you that little bit of personal interaction with people. Take a couple of seconds, walk with them in the path. It just gives you a bit of personal interaction with them. So this looks like a good place to run the EBS, but there's music already playing. So thanks, Rad. Yeah. Cheers, Rad.
Drilling the rock like water, one drop at a time.
Give you a leaflet, mate. What is this? It's government taking our rights and our freedoms away, and the lies and corruption and the crimes that they've committed over the last 3 years. The government, via the World Economic Forum, who basically, Klaus Schwab, the head of the World Economic Forum, said, quote...
You didn't ask? You should ask.
All right, yeah.
Yes.
You should ask.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that.
But what you're warning against...
Let's do one more. Thank you very much for this.
We got a break with music.
It's not the most well known in the younger generation, but I hope you enjoy this. This last one, this is from Hamilton. If you can all pretend I'm a psychopathic King George III, please don't take me too seriously on this last one. Also, if you want some entertainment for your phones, please get recording. There's going to be some good cracks. Some good cracks are coming. Bear with me.
That's the Busker details.
If you know the words to this one, please sing along. Have a lovely rest of your Sunday, folks. I'm going to finish this, go home, and collapse. And then be back tomorrow for a haul again. Let's do this. There you are.
You say the price of my love's not a price that you're willing to pay. You cry your tea which you held in the sea when you see me go by. Why so sad? Remember we made an arrangement when you went away. Now you're making me mad. Remember, despite our estrangement, I'm your man. You'll be back, soon you'll see. You'll remember you belong to me. You'll be back, time will tell. You'll remember that I served you well. All ships rise, empires fall. We have seen each other through it all. And when push comes to shove, I will send a fully armed battalion to remind you of my love. socket forever and ever and never and never and never. You'll be back like before. I will fight the fight and win the war for your love, for your praise, and I'll love you till my dying days. When you're gone, I'll go mad. So don't throw away this thing we had, 'cause when push comes to shove, I will kill your friends and family to remind you of my love. Da 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 da. Da 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 everybody.
Thank you so much, folks. I'm going to go home and collapse now. Thank you so much for your support. Have a lovely night. Thank you so much.
Yeah, guys, can I just give you a leaflet? It's about the government taking our rights and our freedoms away. And potential crimes against humanity in the last 3 years, lies, corruption, and so forth. Well, you decide for yourself. I'm not the BBC, I don't tell you what to think. I just give you the alternative information. Alright, see you in a bit. So yeah, Rad, I think I'm gonna have to go now. So we've got to get. I'd love to stay, but I think we're gonna have to get back to the caravan park. We're moving tomorrow, so tomorrow's a logistics day, and we'll get set in the next caravan park, which is closer to the festival, which is in Leicester on Saturday the 12th, and then from Tuesday onwards we'll be doing outreach somewhere around the middle of the country, Yorkshire, maybe the Yorkshire area. So if you can have a look, if you're around the Yorkshire area, Bradford, Sheffield, anywhere, just have a look on our social media and just we'll put a flyer out as soon as we can get something organised. But the last 4 days have been really positive, massively, overwhelmingly positive, you know, and it's rewarding because when you come out and you take action, you just, you know, you see that it encourages you, you know.
Government is doing everything to help, to dislike them.
Yeah. And even the outfit didn't put anybody off. Well, maybe one or two, but it draws attention and it does the job. Overall, it draws attention and it draws positive attention. You know, it might put off one or two, but you know. So I'm a bit tired now. So yeah. I just want to say for Rad, honestly, please support this guy. He's absolutely wonderful guy, and he's thank you for coming out to Glasgow on Saturday and coming out again today.
I'm doing same job, leafletting, but through this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, that's what we need, our own media, because where are the BBC? Where's the British Bullshit Corporation now? Where's the Communist News Network in America? Where's Sly News? You know, none of these bought and paid for mainstream or shame-stream media platforms are going to cover it. So it's people like you, Rad, good people like you that do this for free, off your own back, and don't get paid for it and work hard to come and cover us. So yeah,
documenting history and
more
fighting the regime.
More girls over there taking the leaflet. Yeah, young girls taking the leaflet. So yeah, they've seen your camera equipment, they've seen the outfit, it's drawn attention. open up a conversation, and there you go, and they're taking the information.
Planting the seed.
Exactly, yeah. From a little seed, a giant tree can grow. So just keep throwing seeds around, keep planting seeds, keep going. So yeah, thank you, Rad.
Thank you.
All right.
So.
Thanks, guys.
So shall I put this?
It's up to you. You do what you want.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I will wrap it up. Thank you. Thank you.
This lady would like to talk about how she doesn't like cashless society. So she wants
Right.
to. Yeah.
What's your name?
My name's Paige Morris.
I'm gonna go. So, no, I'm shaking.
Can we just?
I've got to go.
All right.
I've got to go. but
Can we
well
just
done.
stand
Thank you.
on the
Very
pavement?
brave of you doing that.
Thank you.
Actually, the next one.
Sorry. One more time. What's your name?
Paige Morris.
Hi.
Hi. This guy was telling us about how we're talking about the problems in the world, and I was saying that I don't like the cashless society thing because a lot of people, like when they work in takeaways and stuff, they get paid in cash. So what are they meant to do? Like small businesses gain on cash, but if it goes to like cards and stuff, they're gonna more businesses are gonna fail, and that's it really. That's all.
It's about removing of choice as well.
Yeah, we're gonna get controlled.
There was advertisement by HSBC: when your abuser controls your money, controls you. I'm originally from Poland. We used to be under communistic regime.
Yeah.
So there was a period where we had no money. There would be only coupons.
What are you filming?
I'm independent.
Can I get in?
Yes, just when we finish. So when we had only rationing, so you would be only allowed, let's say, 4 pounds of sugar, 4 pounds of flour. You will get coupons. So there will be no free trade, no option to buy stuff. Yeah, there will be no. There will be. Hi guys. There will be no option for you to buy. So imagine if there will be smart digital money. When, let's say, you just said something against government, so they can block your account on the spot. This is tyrannical, and we should never allow this. And the same like what they're saying, this 15-minute cities. You heard about this? What do you know about this?
Not much.
So what they're saying, they want to restrict our movement within 15 minutes. They say this for our convenience. But then next things will be you will have to ask for permission, and they will penalize you when you leave.
Well, you have to ask permission to leave.
To leave. Now they're saying this is for ecology, for climate. This is not. It's just purely to restrict you.
Yeah.
Now, have you heard about ULEZ?
No.
Ultra low emission zone. This is
it's like in Manchester. where you have to
Manchester,
pay.
London. You're
Yeah.
basically paying to use a car, but they are saying, oh, this is for emission. But then next thing, even if you have electric car, they will say, no, you have to pay per mile. Now you have to stop using your car. Now you can't see your family, you can't see your mom, you can't see your siblings, yeah? You can't see your boyfriend. You just need to stay within 15 minutes because this will ruin climate. It's nonsense, but people are just getting away with this. The same like with lockdowns, and this is way of exerting control. But then there is real infrastructure behind this. There are cameras, there are sensors, we are carrying mobile phones, etc. If there would be cashless society, no cash, they can just block you. Have you heard about Canadian truckers protesting? No. They block the capital city, Ottawa, in Canada. But then you got Canadian truckers, the massive, they're bigger than lorry trucks in UK because they're like traveling on a longer distance. They're much bigger trucks than we see in UK. So they basically drove there in thousands of lorry truck drivers, and they blocked their capital city. So they basically, government blocked their bank account. People, they donated $15 million, Canadian dollars, to fund the protest. But government attacked them. They broke the protest down. They blocked the bank account. They froze the funds. They stripped drivers from driving license, and they canceled their insurance. They went tyrannical. It's something that you would expect in communistic Russia, Germany by Nazi's time, yeah. But it is happening now, very close to us, where we live. This is how it's being encroached. So the infrastructure, they put camera. It's for your safety. Now it is to stop you from moving. Now you move, you pay, or we'll block you because you moved, you left your 15-minute zone, so you're now killing the environment. It's all nonsense, but it's only happening in a certain group of countries. European Union, all the crown countries, which is UK, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and United States and their allies. It doesn't happening in China, Africa, Asia, India. They don't go along with this. It's just like, have you heard about social credit score in China? If let's say now you've just attended protest, yeah, in a way, you've just spoken with people who are protesting against government. That will have an impact on you, let's say taking loan, or they can stop you from traveling. So if I'm a person attending protests, next time I will go to petrol station, it's cashless society. I don't have 20 quid in my pocket. I can only pay with the cashless money, which government can stop me. Now they can stop me from not just buying petrol for my car, but they can stop me from buying train ticket, bus ticket, flying out abroad, etc. That's the level of control they've got. And this is basically, they're saying this is social credit score. You got credit score, credit worthiness, like you're working. Are you reliable enough to lend you money? That's how it's in UK. But then it's in addition to that, it's not just money-wise. It's also about your behavior. If you're now speaking against the government, your points will go down. So you won't be able to take a mortgage. You won't be able to send your child to school. You will be penalized. Now, let's say, have you ever been blocked on Facebook?
No.
But you can be banned on Facebook, yeah? So this is just like inconvenience. But think, when they will block your bank account, you heard about people like Nigel Farage. I'm not a big fan of him, but nobody should be stripped of their bank account. This is like terrorism. This is like abuser controlling your money, controls you. This is where we're heading, because if there will be cashless society, have you heard about digital ID?
No.
They basically want the same way like we've got unique fingerprints. There's 8 billion people on the planet, and each one of us will have unique fingerprints. There's no identical. Even twins, they will have different prints. Basically, they want to implement digital ID, which is rolled globally, and basically track and trace every single aspect of your life. What you bought since day one, yes? Who did you ever meet? Because now we got smartphones. Let's say we were talking for 15 minutes. This will be registered. If you spend money with anybody, this will be registered. If I will give you £20 now and you will go and spend it, nobody will know where it will go. Cash is freedom. Nobody is questioning how you spend money. You can go to any place, spend it, give it to anybody. It will not be registered. But with digital money, every single transaction will be registered. And they are also saying carbon footprint tracker. You can read about this. So they say that you got only 2,000 kilograms allowance per year. So one flight is 500 kilograms. So you will just have one holiday, 2 flights, that's 1,000 kilograms. And then you buy whatever, you buy sausage at shop. They will take 3 kilograms of so-called CO2, imaginary. But this is just to restrict you. So you will have 3 kebabs this week, and they will say you can't have 4th. Or you can't buy cigarettes, you can't buy this and that. Yeah, I'm just making things up, but this is just to give you an example how this will work. It's not just about removing the cash as such. It is to control every single aspect. So with digital ID, everything about you, every intimate detail, who did you meet, who did you sleep with, where do you go, everything will be registered to the second, like computers, yeah? You can check last 3 years how the machine was working, to the second, log, whatever. So they want the same with us. This is tyrannical, that's why people need to understand. Because they are saying, oh, this is for environment. So where is transition between environment and charging per mile? Because I don't see anybody behind the car with the big balloon catching the fumes. They're not building a plant to clean the air. And you can Google that. Scottish government cut out something like 18 million trees to put wind turbines. And they are saying there is problem with CO2. What's the best way to remove CO2? Tree. And the CO2 is also gas of life. Do you know what's the level of CO2 in atmosphere? Guess. 0.4%. Not even 1%, 0.4%. If this will go below that level, it's just not livable. We are living in a symbiosis. So we are breathing out CO2, plants are breathing this in and exhaling oxygen, which we breathe. It's a circle of life. If you don't have CO2, you don't have plants. You got no plants, the whole food chain is damaged. This is absolutely illogical what they're saying, but the same like people went along with so-called pandemic. They say asymptomatic disease, act like you've got it. Now they're rambling on media that there is global boiling, but you can see rain is falling, it's cold, but the media, they're pushing the fear. This is irrational, but the same with so-called pandemic. They say act like you've got it. There's global boiling, not just global warming, global boiling. Even if it's not boiling, act if it's boiling. This is mind control. This is mass media completely programming people 24/7, repeating. If you repeat lie 3,000 times, that's what it's all about. But then that's the whole picture. This is all about control. It's literally like slavery on steroids. Because if you will have slave, you have to look after the slave. Yeah, you have to feed, clothe, provide shelter. But most people are just slaving their life away, and they can't even sustain themselves. They're struggling to buy food. UK is 5th richest country in the world, 5th richest, and people are struggling to heat their houses and buy the food. How wrong is that? And I've just been through the numbers. I will read something to you. The amount of money that they defrauded. When they paid, they say furlough. We will stop at home, we'll pay you 80% of wages. They print money of thin air. They don't. There's no money. Money is being printed by Bank of England, created, and cost of interest. So they don't borrow that from anybody. If you lend me 50 quid, yeah, you need to have this 50 quid to give it to me, right? But banks, they do this off thin air. They don't have that money. They don't have them in a vault, in a cellar. They don't get this from Moon or Mars. They just print it. They print numbers on the screen and they say that's the 1 billion pounds, 2 billion pounds. It's called quantitative easing. They can print money indefinitely, yeah? And now they say we have to pay interest because if you want your £50 back, you want some interest on it, yeah? But there was no money before. They created it. And we're also creating the debt, which we have to pay. So they created 450 billion pound debt. There is 68 million people in the UK, which will translate to 6,000 pound debt per head for each one of us. You, me, everybody, every child, every old person, young and old, yeah? And the amount of money they wasted just throughout these 3 years is staggering. They 33 to 58 billion pounds. That was just the cost of fraud, pre-pandemic expense. 70 billion was spent for furlough money to pay for people to sit at home when there was no real need.
Yeah.
37 billion pound gone and missing for track and trace up. Now 27 billion pound was defrauded for bounce back loan. 9 billion pounds for dodgy PPE contracts. You remember Nightingale hospitals, emergency hospitals? That was £500 million before the commissioning. I'm pretty sure this is at least double. and they spend at least £1 billion. Billion is 1,000 million. We're talking in billions. They were just burning through billions of pounds. This is like, if you add this all together, for each one of us, it's like debt of £50,000 that we have to pay physically. Or if we don't pay, our children will pay. This is nonsense. This is like the way we are governed is absolutely nonsensical. And when they say climate, they don't say climate change. They just literally mean control, because then they will be restricting every of your action. Like I said, you have had a conversation with me. Yeah. This can have now effect on you. Yeah. Negative, in sense that they can block your account, whatever. That's where it's heading. But you heard about boiling the frog? You got pan with the water and a frog inside, and you're just increasing temperature. If you will try to throw the frog into boiling water, it will fight. It will try to jump out instantly. But because you're increasing temperature slowly, then it's too late for frog. When temperature is too critical, the frog is already cooked, alive. Because that's what they do. They just put, that's just all cameras on your street. That's just no cars. That's just cashless. That's just self-scanning tills. That's just barcode reader. That's just 15-minute zone. Yeah. You get the way they encroach on us. That's why those people are leafleting. I've been myself on the street for the last 3 years, live streaming those protests, because you will not see this. This was suppressed. There was, I don't know if you heard, there was 1 million people protesting in London. Have you ever heard about this? During lockdowns?
Yes.
1 million people. Have you seen this on BBC? Or it's a news. 1 million people protesting in London. Why it's not on the media? So you see, that's the level of control that they've got. But at the end of the day, society does not turn into tyranny because there are tyrants. Because there's Hitler, Stalin. No, it's the society that follows. Because in UK, there is 190,000 army, military, and 146,000 police. That's it. There's no people with machine guns to force you to do things. It's not Banana Republic. That's why they control by fear. They say, act like you've got it. Save the granny, stay home, don't talk to strangers, yeah? Wear the mask 2 meters away, take 7 jobs, do as we say, trust no one, don't see mom, don't see dad, don't see boyfriend, yes? That's what they're saying. This is totalitarian dictatorship, but this is literally people getting along with this. 68 million people. Just imagine if we all say no tomorrow. It's done. Because they got no power. It's not Banana Republic that somebody will come with Kalashnikov and will shoot us. Yeah? They got no physical power. That's why it's always report non-compliance. Say hose ban. You remember water hose ban? If you water your grass, report your neighbor. If you go and see your family because there's lockdown, report on them. But the government, left and right, they were partying at the time. And they're sick of it. They knew. You heard about Partygate. You see, this is double standard. They know exactly if there will be danger, real danger of, let's say, virus, pathogen, it will be government first in nuclear bunker before you even be able to scratch your head. You know what I mean? They know, they got intelligence, which you and I will not know. They got resources. But it's the way they play society. They say migrants, illegal migrants, but at the end of the day, we are all human. This is how we're being played. This is how we're being governed. There's no point. Why there are people sleeping roof on the street? And I just told you how many billions of pounds they burned. This is mismanagement of humanity. And that's why people like you've met today, they were handing leaflet to engage. Because society wasn't like this. Now today everybody is like zombie. Just glued to the phone, head down. They don't speak to each other. They don't know each other's names. They don't know their neighbor. They don't even say good morning. You get me? Yeah. There's no connection. There's no society anymore. They're just drones. People are glued, self-centered, selfie, consumption, eating, whatever. Nonsense. But they're not helping each other. When there's a real problem, who will you call? There's just NHS, and NHS will say, oh, just stay at home till you get pneumonia and then call us. That's what they did during lockdowns. They should be helping people. Even in communistic Poland, during the worst of the regime, it would be unheard of for a sick person to be unable to see, and this was criminal government, like dictatorship. If you would be sick, you would not be refused to see the doctor, and it was like this. So many people died because of this, excess deaths. But then this is all mind game. That's why people were approaching, and they do this every day. Rain, wind, snow, weather. The same like with social media. I'm live streaming those protests. You can go on my profile, see the last 3 years, the footage is there, and judge for yourself, because I'm not here to sell you anything, yeah? But I'm here, this is same like leafleting. If 500 people will watch the stream, will think for themselves, will listen, and they will draw their own conclusion. That's my job done. It's same like those guys with the leaflet. They will give you something, information, they will engage with you, but they're not forcing you. Oh, you have to follow us, join our party, So that's what it's all about today. Like, because just protesting when people march and shout, it doesn't do nothing. It's people who got the power, but people don't understand. That's why it's all mind control. Propaganda 24/7, lies, tell lie vision. Literally, this is TV programming. This is constant repetition. Oh, it's global boiling, global boiling, global boiling. Stay home, deaths. Now we got about 1,000 to 2,000 excess deaths every week. Nobody is asking question. When they were saying, oh, so many people died a week, but they didn't explain how many people died a week on average year. This is manipulation, yeah? So the way the government played us is very wrong. That's what is wrong. Because everything, society, country, it's okay. It's just who is in charge. When you got psychopath, then they will make living unbearable. This is like abusive partner. That's what we are, with abusive relation with the government. Because they wanted to lock us down, like criminals. 15-minute zones, what is all about? You're young. I travel around the world, I've been in several countries. Why would you be stripped of that opportunity? Because now it will cost you £500,000, where it cost me a few £100 to travel into places. Why would you be deprived of what I had a chance to experience? You understand me? This is wrong, that's why I'm here. I got son. I've been born in country which was under communistic regime. And if that generation of my parents and grandparents who stood up to the government, you can read, there was solidarity movement in Poland, 89. And they overthrew the government. People say we had it, enough, and they rebel. If this wouldn't happen, I would be born into a totalitarian country. But it's the same, like you read about North Korea, Belarus, you think that Russia is like dictatorship. There's more people arrested in UK for freedom of speech because they say something than in Russia. This is shocking. But then again, in manipulation, you've got not taking sides, but you should hear both sides. You should hear, let's say, about Ukraine, and you should hear Russia's side. If we got argument, there's two sides. It's not just your part of the story, right? There is also my part of the story. And if we got argument, wouldn't it be fair to speak with both of us? But that's what it's all about. If people understand, because we got power, 68 million people, if we say no, then this is basically how they're playing people. So, sorry if I bored you, but that's what we're doing. We need to educate people and let people think for themselves, because getting along with this, and this is exactly, it will sound harsh, but if you will walk down the street, yeah, and in a corner somebody is abusing somebody, I don't know, there is rape going on, yeah, and you walk past, because you will say, it's not my problem. You're enabling it. You're not taking part, but this is exactly the same. That's how society turned fascistic. Because there was first Adolf Hitler making public meetings saying something. Then he went to the power and people went along. And that's what they did. Later, you know the history. But that's how it started. People didn't say no when they should. If you're not against, and this is where we're heading now, is if people, they don't understand their power. 8 billion of people, and everybody says, what is there is that I can do? I'm just one guy with the phone, yeah? I live streamed those protests over 3 years. I had 1 million people joining live, tuning in, like fetching million people live. Have you heard about a guy named Jordan Peterson? Google that guy. He's a professor from Canada. There was that, you got preferred pronouns. If I will tell you now that I'm a girl and you mispronounce me, then I can say you're bigoted, you're hateful, yeah? I can accuse you of things. But the objective reality is I'm a man. I can think whatever. I might think I'm a pink toaster. It does not change the reality. But they wanted to compel this as a speech. So if I will mispronounce you to whatever you imagine you are, and vice versa, you can call police and get somebody arrested, whatever. They wanted to change this as a law, which is brainwash. Because physically, our bodies are male, female, what you identify yourself is not the reality. It's your fantasy, yeah? So this professor stood up and they wanted to cancel him all over the media. But because he's clinical psychologist, he really broken it down. And he had a famous interview in BBC. It went viral, like 60 millions. They wanted to destroy him because that's what propaganda machine does. They attack, destroy, cancel, delete. That's how they deal with people who they don't like. So what happened? He basically gained popularity. And now, literally, you will see Jordan Peterson, Google that guy. But he said, he understands psychology and sociology. Each one of us throughout a lifetime will make at least 1,000 connections. That will be people close to you, your friends, family, your colleagues from schools, university. You will make at least 1,000 physical connections throughout lifetime. And each person will be connected to another 1,000 people. So physically, you're like a part of the net. So your action, when you say, poor little me, what is there as I can do? Yes, you can do so much. Because your direct action, your lifestyle, your message would directly impact 1 million people. And let's say if you got social media, so many people, they like celebrities, they reach tens of millions of people with their messages. And I don't mean bullshit celebrities, I mean people of genuine value. So that's why they want to stop us. Because power is in what we accept. We got saying. I can say no to what they're saying. I can say no, you're not forcing me. It's like this saying, if you got drug dealer in this neighborhood, what's the difference between drug dealer and government? Drug dealer will never force you to buy their drugs. If you want, you're free to do. But they will never knock you to your door and will say, we'll lock you at your home till you buy the drug. Or you don't take the drug, you won't work. This is so abusive, yeah? And this is not politicians that they did this. It's a corporation that they bribed politicians. The public servants, they say, well, what's your work, if I can ask?
I work in an office.
You work in office. You got a certain job to do, yeah? And you got a role description. So politicians, they are public servants. That's how they're called. They should be working in public interest, not in a corporation interest. They should be there to balance. So little guy like you and me, they should balance because there is multi-billion worth of organization. They should balance the relation between us. But they don't. And that's where the problem is. They corrupt. They don't represent people anymore. They represent big businesses. That's why they push those drugs without safety study, without... they literally coerce this. Like, how can I say, like, no job, no job? I just gave you example. Drug dealer will never force you, but government will. And they will say same. They are just more and more abusive. They will now say, oh, it's just for your emissions. There you buy electric car. You buy electric car, no emissions, and they will say pay per mile. And they will say no car at all. And they will say no leave neighborhood of 15 minutes. It's how much you give them. It's like with bullies at school. If you don't stand up, they just keep on going. I hope that we can balance this. But then if we don't engage, and then this is about numbers game. 5% of society uprising, this is revolution. Have you heard about French Revolution? They chopped the politicians, yeah? 5% of society, that's what is already revolution stage. We don't need that. There was 1 million people protesting in London. So I think we just need 2 million people actively pushing, going on council meetings, pushing on politicians, doing things like those guys did. Activism, just saying no for our children, for our future, because they will just force this. No, absurd. Like, look, people are wearing masks till this day. Those masks, they don't stop viruses. I happened to paint cars in period of my life, and specialized mask with filters, I could still feel the fumes. So this mask does nothing, but people are living in fear. They're still wearing this, where there's no real risk. It's like wearing umbrella in a sunny day because you're afraid the rain will come one day. It's absurd. So yeah, so sorry if I was too intense, but that's life. This is war, literally. They are organized against us. This is war of governments against the people. All countries that took the same policy of locking people down in their homes, they collaborate because this works for them. They control everything. This is like monopoly game. They will tell you what to eat, where you can enter. So there will be no people anymore if they will install the system. There will be barcode reader, and there will be no person that you can argue with. No cashless society. You do as I say, or you won't eat. Literally, that's where it's heading. And people don't understand. They just paying because, oh, it's convenient. Yeah, I'm going to McDonald's, swipe the phone. They think, oh, it's just easy. You're a conspiracy theorist. I'd rather be conspiracy theorist than be in position where I can't scan and I can't buy food. Because then there is no turning back at this stage. And they're already pushing this. They're pushing cashless. They are removing freedom of choice. They are taking shops. They're removing the tills. They're taking interaction away. They don't want us to talk. 2 meters. Don't talk to strangers. What is that? Is that based in science, or is that based in science of psychological control? It's abusive. It's the same if you would have abusive boyfriend who will be sick, jealous of you doing anything. Like, you can't speak with anybody. I just lock you in my cellar. That's really like how government is treating us. It sounds like there is some rationale, but there's no rationale in this.
I'm gonna have to go.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you for chat. Bye bye. Well, it was overwhelming. I need to give that. Right, I will be wrapping up because it's been 3 hours, 3.5 an hour now. I've been here longer, but I was streaming for 3 hours 20. But hey, either this will scare that girl off or she will learn something. So yes, thank you for tuning in. I'm just closing this.